Welcome to the field, your UNCG Spartans. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your hats to join our players and our coaches in honoring America, celebrating its freedom and those who protect it. Let us rise as one nation and one people for the playing of our national anthem.
Baseball stadium as the Spartans get ready to take on Furman in Game 2 of this SoCon series. Today's starting pitcher will be Matt Frisbee for UNCG. He'll be taking the hill with a 3.43 ERA, 5-1 on the year, 7 appearances, 42 innings pitched. He's given up just 34 hits, 16 runs. Those all were earned, but he struck out 28 in the process, holding opponents to a .217 batting average. Throw it over to Isaiah St. Hilaire. He'll get you introduced with the Furman Paladins lineup. They come into today's contest at 11-17, 1-6 in SoCon play.
Thank you, Scott. And first at bat today, we'll have the right fielder Jabari Richards with a .245 batting average for the season. Next, we have Carter Grote, the left fielder, with a .303 average for the season. And the first baseman at third bat will be Brandon Elmy with a .357 average for the season. And the center fielder, Landon Kay, will be fourth at bat with a .324 average for the season. And Jason Costa, the catcher, will be fifth at bat today for the Paladins with a .333 average this season, as Sky Overton, the designated hitter today for the Paladins, will be sixth at bat with a .301 average. Trent Alley, the third baseman, will be seventh with a .190 average. Sims Griffith, with the second baseman, will be eighth at bat with a .212 average. And with a .324 average, Dylan Love, the shortstop, will be last at bat today for the Furman Paladins.
And Frisbee will dig in, set to face Jabari Richards. Here leading things off for the Paladins. The only lefty in the lineup today. As we'll go righty-lefty to start. Frisbee will settle for the sign, and first pitch on its way. Clocks in at 3:01 Eastern Time. 2:01 Central Time if you're watching in the Central Time Zone. As Frisbee will settle in, pitch once more, swing and a miss, strike one. So 1-1 the count here to Richards, and Richards, a guy at the top of the order. Let's see if he's got a little bit of speed. Not a lot. 2 of 4 in stolen bases attempts this year, so not necessarily a prototypical leadoff guy as he swings and misses at the second strike there. So 1-2 the count here to Richards. And we'll get you the defensive lineup for UNCG just after this at bat as that one's going to get down the right field line. Jabari Richards rounding first and headed for second. This may be 3 as it gets away from Sigmund down and right. And he's churning, and he will. That's a leadoff triple for Jabari Richards. And just like that, Furman's in business.
Always a difficult play, Scott, for the, as you see, the right fielder, Ryan Sigmund for UNCG, attempting to get that ball before Jabari Richards is attempting to get to third base. Really good line drive hit right down first base as Ryan Sigmund unable to get there in time.
Yeah, that's a pitch you want back if you're Matt Frisbee. You were ahead in the count 1-2 and left kind of one out over the plate. And Richards was able to drive that down that line. As he'll throw the first pitch outside for ball 1 to Carter Grote. The defensive lineup for UNCG looks like this. Behind home plate will be Ryan Clinch. At first base, Michael Goss, Second base, Austin Embler. The next pitch will be popped up to right field, drifting over is Sigmund. He will make the play, and that should score Jabari Richards. So a sacrifice fly to get this party started by Carter Grote. It's exactly what you wanted to do if you were Grote. Drove it far enough into that right field gap that was going to score easily for Richards. The rest of the defensive lineup for UNCG looks like this. Webster will be playing third base. You just see the RBI here. Just a good piece of hitting, driving it out into right field, and there was no doubt about that was going to drive in Richards. Webster will be playing third. Trip Shelton at shortstop. Spitznagel out in left. Center field, Andrew Moritz. And rounding out the lineup in right field will be Ryan Sigmund. That was going to be driven to Webster. He'll spin around and throw. And a slow dribbler over to first base. And he did everything he could to get it there. Almost a spectacular play from the freshman. By the end of the day, Elmy's able to beat that one out fairly easily from a throw from his seat. That'll bring up Landon Kay, the cleanup hitter for Furman. Center fielder wearing number 44 today. And already Furman's put up more offense than they did in their first 8 innings last night. No runs for the first 8 innings of work for the UNCG pitchers, and it was mainly the cause of Bryce Hensley. 7 innings pitched, just gave up 3 hits, walked 4, struck out 2 in a 96-pitch effort that got him the win to move him to 5-3 on the season.
And that is just a huge confidence booster for the UNCG Spartans today as they look to take Game 2 away from the Paladins again. Very good outing for Hensley yesterday, as you just mentioned, Scott.
Exactly right. That's what you wanted when you moved around the lineup, did Link Jarrett. Taking Jack Maynard out of that Friday spot, moving things up and putting Dan Lotz in the Sunday role. And so far, the gambles worked out. Frisbee will check that runner once again.
Always good when a coach gambles, and so far so good for him, right?
Exactly what you wanted. Your dividends paid off last night. You beat one of the best pitchers in the league. As that pitch will go outside, and a great performance in his own right for Will Gaddis. 7 innings strong, 6 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned run. So that's a tough luck loss if you're Gaddis, only giving up 1 earned run, and you lose the ball game like that in a game that, for all intents and purposes, UNCG controlled from the onset. As that pitch will be outside, so 3-0 here to Landon Kay, and all of a sudden Frisbee has a little bit of chink in his armor here in the top of the first. Frisbee will settle and deal. Just gets in the strike zone there. So 3-1 count here for Frisbee, trying to work his way back into the count. It's always tough when you get behind 3-0 because you know the hitter's not going to be swinging at anything away. So you've got to really pound the strike zone. And if you do that, sometimes you let up in an area that a hitter can take the other way. The pitch, that one misses, and like I said, you really can't afford to miss there, and now you have runners on at first and second, and troubles a brewing on the base pass.
Yes, Scott, definitely not the start that the Spartans want this afternoon as we see Clinch assuming his position, but you don't want to give up a run right off the bat. We'll give off a triple to Richards right off the bat, and Richards able to score off that sacrifice fly given by Carter Grote. But now with two basemen, Frisbee is, with only one out, still looking to get that confidence swagger back, if I may say.
That pitch will be in the dirt. And I think it all kind of changed on the pass of Jabari Richards. He did have that triple, but
Definitely.
remember back to that at-bat, Frisbee was in control. He was up 1-2 on the hitter.
He was, yeah.
Gave up a pitch that he probably wants back, and it seems like he's been a little unnerved ever since.
Yeah, definitely, and that's, as a pitcher, you don't ever want to start off like that. Well, you do want to start off with the 2 strikes and only giving up 1 ball, but it's really got to be a killer for Frisbee right now. But we'll see if he'll be able to bounce back later on throughout the game, or in this inning, of course.
And Frisbee's really done well in these situations. If you think back to earlier in the season, no win bigger on this UNCG win column than at South Carolina, as that one's fouled off, and Frisbee, the starter in that game, and really did everything in his power to keep South Carolina off the scoreboard. One of the most dominant offenses, one of the most dominant teams in the country as of recent history. And he did a good job in that start, earning the win. Get you the stats for that in just a second as they reload on my computer. But really, really good job for Frisbee early on in the season. He's kind of reached a little bit of a rough patch here, but he's undoubtedly the best pitcher on this staff. That one's going to be, it looked like it fouled off. Let's keep the count at 1-2. But Frisbee in that game against South Carolina went 7 innings strong, gave up 3 hits, 1 walk, 4 Ks, and 88 pitches. So a very economical win for him in Columbia. 1-0 win for the Spartans to really kind of get this season jump-started. A 1-2 from Frisbee. And that one's going to be a wild pitch. And it will advance the runners to the next base. Might be time to take a visit out to Matt Frisbee. Something's not quite working right now. You calm him down, kind of talk things over, and he just missed everything on that one. Not even close to where the catcher set up. See Link Jarrett on the top step. Watching his pitcher. See if he can get out of it. 1 out here in the top of the first. Spartans looking to get out of a tough jam with runner on at second and third. That pitch will miss for ball 3. So full count here to Costa. 1 away. A do-or-die pitch here for Frisbee. This could mean runners on at every base. This could mean a strikeout to kind of jumpstart and get out of this inning. Or it could be extra bases. And that was going to be a high pop-up down that left field line. That one's going to be trouble. That's so high. But Spitz will make the easy play and throw back to third. The runner will retreat in Elmy, and that's a big, big out. That'll bring up Sky Overton, the DH in the lineup today. As that one was sky high. Spitznagel able to find it and then bring it down in the midst of the sun.
I'm sure Coach Jarrett is very happy to see his left fielder focus and not allow the sun to scurry him away from the ball. It's always difficult to get those kind of plays down when the sun is in your face, but very good focus and good temperament for Spitznagel as he gets that out there.
Especially in a day like today, all the sun is all out. There's maybe a spattling of clouds, maybe not very much.
Mostly blue.
Yeah, it's a very, very good day. So if you're watching at home, maybe thought the weather would keep you away for whatever reason, come on out. It's a great day to be at the ballpark because that's going to be a swing, a check that went awry for strike 1. So 1-1 here at Overton. Overton, one of the more veteran guys in this lineup for the Paladins. One of 2 seniors in the lineup with him and Carter Grote. Grote, of course, drove in the lone run on the scoreboard today. Sacrifice fly to right to bring in Jabari Richards. Overton will settle back in, a senior out of Johns Creek, Georgia. 5'10", 200-pounder. The pitch popped up down that right field line, and that will go out of play. So good job here for Overton, kind of staying alive, battling with those 2 strikes. He's a guy that's really been in this lineup for Furman ever since he was a freshman in 2014. He played in 47 games, made 40 starts in center field that year. The sophomore year, he kind of regressed a little bit, 46 games, 28 starts, but back in the lineup last year, 56 of 59 games. That was on the outside for ball 2. This year for Overton, 28 for 28. Started every game for the Paladins. Step back in. The pitch swung on and missed, and that will end the inning, but not after a little bit of trouble for Matt Frisbee, but he settled in and got out of the frame. Furman leads after 1-0. You're watching UNCG Baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.
Some of the changes I've seen myself since I've been here at UNCG is just, I've been really challenged. I've been really encouraged to come out of my comfort zone.
As a professor, what I feel is most important is to find that passion.
You have this dream of doing something bigger for the world, but you don't know how to get there. This is a place where you go to figure it out.
The road to Omaha begins in Greenville, South Carolina. The Southern Conference Baseball Tournament comes to Fluor Field May 23rd through 28th. Enjoy some great college baseball with a trip to the NCAA's on the line in a city the New York Times calls one of the top places to go in 2017. Get your tickets to the tournament and book your rooms in that Greenville today. Experience the games. Explore the city.
And welcome back to the UNCG Baseball Stadium. A couple women's basketball Spartans checking out the action today. Of course, Nadine Solomon in the yellow, the SoCon Freshman of the Year for a fantastic season, and Trina Patterson there as well, the SoCon Coach of the Year. And let's check out the Furman starting pitcher today. It will be Grant Sherman, a sophomore, a 6.63 ERA, 3-4 on the season in 7 starts, 1 complete game to his name, 38 innings pitched. He struck out 19, but given up 41 hits, and opponents are batting .272 against the left-handed option. We'll get the lineup for you from Isaiah just after this pitch to Austin Emmer, who will lead things off. That pitch will be down there for ball 1. Isaiah, what do we got?
So as you mentioned, Austin Embler leading things off. Then batting second, left fielder Ben Spitznagel, senior with a .333 batting average. Batting third, Andrew Moritz, the center fielder for UNCG, the sophomore, batting .374 for the season. Batting fourth, the first baseman Michael Goss, senior for the Spartans, batting .346 average for the season. Then batting fifth, the third baseman Caleb Webster, the freshman, as you mentioned before, batting .438 average for the season. Then batting sixth, the shortstop Trip Shelton, junior for the Spartans, with a .343 average.
And that's a tough play there for the second baseman. Griffith ranged over, kind of tipped it off of his hand and didn't make a throw over, and Embler's able to beat it out. I think they might call that a hit. So good play there by Embler. His speed kind of made the difference. Kind of rushed that throw, as we'll watch the replay here. Embler with the drive up the middle and tried to go backhand and flip it at the same time, and that normally leads to trouble, as you can only do one thing at a time. That'll bring up Ben Spitznagel batting second today. That'll be low. We'll get the rest of the line from Isaiah.
And And after Trip Shelton, we have batting 7th designated hitter, the Greensboro native Cesar Trejo, sophomore, with a 302 average for the season. And then batting 8th, the catcher Ryan Clinch, and 316 for the season. And then batting 9th, the right fielder Ryan Sigmund, the senior, with a 253 average for the season for the Spartans.
And the guy in the lineup that's made a difference, at least so far in this season, Michael Goss, 2 RBIs yesterday for the Spartans in a game where they only scored 3 runs. So a big firecracker in that cleanup spot. That pitch will be low for ball 3. So looks like UNCG is kind of picking up where the Furman offense picked up a moment ago. They got a couple base runners via walks, and Spitznagel ahead 3-0. So a very, very high walk potential here with this at-bat for Spitznagel. And just as you say it, he'll take his base over at first.
The center fielder, number 4, Andrew Moritz.
And I'll bring up Andrew Moritz. He's really the guy that, in my opinion, is the guy in this lineup that if you're going to score runs, it's got to start with Moritz. So far this season, he's scored 33 runs, which leads the lineup today. He's got 43 hits, so really kind of been able to get on base.
Had 2 yesterday.
And he's a guy that also has a little bit of pop, 6 triples and 3 doubles. So he's really a guy that's extra base potential all over him. He's got some speed on the base pass as well, 8 of 9 in stolen bases. So really kind of gets this thing going. Fake steal over there from Embler. Looked like they may have the drop-down bunt signal on from Moritz as he pulled away last minute. Embler able to trot back.
Yeah, Moritz very productive yesterday, as you were mentioning. 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored, and he was definitely scoring, of course, 50% or more than 50% of the runs for the Spartans yesterday. Definitely productive for them. Looks to, of course, do the same today.
And he dropped the bunt down there like it was a good bunt. It just had a little bit too much pace going off of it, off the bat. And Moritz is a guy that can beat the throw down to first, so this is not necessarily an easy out for the Furman defense. They've got to do a lot of thinking here, but if you're Moritz, you have to get the bunt down here because you don't see a lot of bunts being dropped down with 2 strikes. So this is a big, big play for Moritz. He's got to be very, very selective and get a bunt down that he likes.
And it can be very difficult to do that as you're trying to have the right power, make sure it's not too much, not too less, easy for the pitcher to get. And
that bunt did its job, probably not the bunt that Moritz was looking for, maybe a little bit of too much of a jump down to that third base side, but he did advance the runners in Embler and Spitznagel to second and third respectively, and I'm all for small ball there. The only issue I had with that is maybe, just maybe, after a 4-pitch walk, you can maybe see a couple more balls and maybe work the pitcher a little bit more. But you do advance the runners in a situation where scoring runs in conference play is a premium, especially for this guy. You want to see this guy with as great of a chance to drive in runs as he can in Michael Goss. He had 2 RBI yesterday, looking to drive in more here as that first pitch misses way inside for ball 1. Embler over on at first. He has the lone hit of the day for the Spartans. A little dribbler to second. Goss settles in, the pitch on its way. Flung down the left field line, and it is well foul, but he got a little bit of that, to say the least. Just a little bit of pop in that one down that left field line. Goss, one of the leaders in this team, who has missed time already this season due to injuries. They've had so many guys in this lineup for UNCG. Missed time as a throwback to second, and ranging over is the second baseman, Griffith, but a little bit late to make the tag over on Spitznagel. Haven't gotten the defensive lineup for Furman yet to you, but we'll get it to you after Goss's AB here. He'll step out, call for time. Will Goss. The pitch from Sherman in the dirt, but not far enough away to advance the runners. You'll see Embler will trot back. He represents the game-tying run here in the bottom of the first frame. On deck is Caleb Webster, the reigning SoCon Player of the Month for the month of March. Sherman looks for the sign, the pitch. Driven right up the middle, and that will do the job. Goss will be standing at first. Rounding third and headed for home is Ben Spitznagel with a 2 RBI single for the senior first baseman. It's exactly what you want. He didn't get all of it, but he got enough of it to drive it right up the middle and bring in 2 runs. Good piece of hitting for Michael Goss. You'll see it here, just a slow dribbler past the pitcher, and Sherman thought he could have gotten that snag.
And you're right, Scott. He really was trying to hit that really hard down second base, but good enough. Got those 2 runners, and UNCG now leading 2-1. You could tell that was like right in between, or right a little bit closer to his hands there, and probably not the shot that he was wanting, but hey, it worked, right?
Exactly right. It did the trick, and now it brings up one of the hottest hitters in the league in Caleb Webster.
And Caleb Webster just has to be feeling a whole lot of confidence for himself.
So he will fly out to right there to Richards. We'll get you the defensive lineup right now. Costa behind the plate, Elmy at first, Griffith at second base, Alley at third base, Love at shortstop, Grote in left, Kay in center field, and the leadoff guy, Richards, who scored the game's lone run for the Paladins in right field. I'll bring up Trip Shelton, and one might think the progression of Caleb Webster will be to Trip Shelton's position at shortstop by the time all is said and done. That is Webster's position of trade, as that one's going to be fouled off and out of play. So Goss got this party started with that 2 RBI single right up the middle. And Sherman will miss just high there to make things 1-1. And that last at bat, Webster, you got to tell, swinging at the first pitch, maybe a little bit pressing, trying to get things down. He went 0 for yesterday, and it's the first time he's gone 0 for in his young career in quite some time. That'll be a swing and a miss, strike 2. So Shelton behind now, 1-2 with 2 away.
Yeah, and definitely going back to Caleb Webster, Scott, what you were mentioning. Just as a freshman, going into college his first year, you got to have a lot of confidence as far as being this successful on the team, and got to look forward to next season, of course. That's very good hit.
Perfect piece of hitting there by Trip Shelton, hit behind the runner, able to advance Goss, a little weak grounder. Slides into the outfield. So not necessarily the most powerful hits for UNCG back-to-back, but once again, runner on in scoring position with Cesar Trejo up to the dish. Trejo on the year, one of the Spartans' main RBI guys. He's got 29 hits and has driven in 32 runs, which leads the lineup today. He does have 6 home runs, so quite a bit of pop for the sophomore right-handed hitter. The pitch from Sherman popped up, out of play, straight back, 0-1.
We just saw that pop, as you just mentioned it, Scott.
Exactly right. He's got a good bit of ability to drive it to anywhere in the ballpark. He's got a great amount of potential for UNCG in the future. One of these young guys in the lineup, him and Moritz, the 2 sophomores have really kind of done a lot of damage in their early careers, have phenomenal potential in the next 2 years in this blue and gold jersey. Missed on that one to move to 0-2. So behind the 8 ball now is Trejo.
Sure, and it's going to be really nice, going back to what you were saying about Trejo and Moritz, for Coach Jarrett to really appreciate the leadership that they're going to be building just as young sophomores. They still have another 2 years left after this season to become really good leaders for the team as they're already establishing themselves as good leaders right now. With, of course, the 32 RBIs that Trejo has for the season, very productive for the Spartans, and Coach Jarrett really, really appreciate that.
And you talk about leadership with this team. The undisputed leader of this team is Jake Cush, and really hasn't played a whole lot this year. Been out with an injury, But you can just tell his thumbprint is all over this team. He's been a leader for 4 years, and you can just tell how important those 4-year leaders are. That'll be popped up and out of play.
Definitely, and I think it's always important for young players such as Trey or even Caleb Webster, as we were mentioning before, to look up to those juniors or seniors, as you were just saying about Jake Cush, and always good for them to look up to them and establish themselves as leaders as further on into the future for the Spartans.
You see Shelton, another one of those leaders, an upperclassman in this lineup that's been very, very good for UNCG. On at first after a weak dribbler into right. It's a very, very big sequence for Sherman. It's much different if you can get out of this frame with just giving up 2 runs on weak hits, and you can kind of get over that if you're Furman. I mean, it's not like he's giving up hits into the gap all over the place. It's been weak hits. As that one's going to get through and bounce off the third baseman alley. Will he throw it in time? No, he will not, as that one ate him up. That was a hard grounder. Let's see how they go on that one. So they call that one a hit. Such a hard hit ball. It was just ate alley up. So it's the 4th hit of the inning for UNCG, and there's more damage to be done, and you watch the replay here, and I mean, he just gets eaten up by that grounder.
And you were just talking about that pop, that velocity he has when hitting the ball, and definitely was an issue there for the third baseman alley for the Paladins right there.
Yeah, that puts Trejo on at first, and bases loaded here for Ryan Clinch. So that pitch will be a little bit high, ball 1. Clinch has been a very, very good piece. You talk about Jake Cush being out for the whole season. If you told Link Jarrett that going into the year that Jake Cush was going to be out for the whole season, I think you might be a little bit concerned. But right now, Ryan Clinch has really picked up that mantle. 316 average and done a great job behind the plate as well, dealing with the pitchers. He shows bunt there, pulls away, but called strike anyways. And he's provided 16 RBIs in this back half of the lineup. He's been very, very good for UNCG, and he has a prime spot to add to that RBI total here.
And he has a little bit of speed, too, as he's 3 for 4 for stolen bases this season as well. So definitely good. Has a little bit of velocity in his legs as well as him hitting that ball. I think definitely the ideal man for the Spartans to be hitting with bases loaded.
Exactly right, and he's been a guy that you talk about his speed. He's an outfielder by trade, catcher as well. So he's got a little bit of versatility. As that one's going to be to the third baseman, and he will not get it. Will Alley, hard hit ball, and Alley is just being picked on over there at third base. That'll drive in another run.
He sure is, Scott, and that would have ended the inning right there essentially. As we look at the replay once again.
You don't see a great view of it. Thank you, Mr. Pohl. But that was a hard hit ball. That would have been a tough play, but
definitely. But he did have a chance at it right there. Will go down as an error.
I think Alley will think he should have made that play. It'll go down as a hit for Clinch. So an RBI single to the third baseman. Alley's had a tough go of it. That'll be a soft chopper to the third baseman or first baseman. He'll reach over and make the play. Will Elmy for a 3-U. And that'll be the end of the inning, but not after UNCG puts up a 3 spot on the scoreboard. They lead it 3-1 after 1 inning of work. We're headed to the top of the 2nd. You're watching UNCG Baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.
These are the student athletes. This is where they train. These are their homes. This is where they become Rhodes Scholars and academic All-Americans. These are the athletes they've always admired. This is where champions are crowned and moments are made. This Conference.
And just another great day at the ballpark here. A couple of local baseball clubs out checking out the action, checking out their home team and the local Spartans. And one of the guys they're checking out, freshman Caleb Webster. We'll get to him in just a second. He had that Freshman of the Month honoree just for his work in the month of March. And Isaiah, looking at his numbers, he hit .478 in the month of March, and he led UNCG to a 14-4 record. 32 hits, 7 doubles, and a pair of triples. He drove in 20 runs. I mean, as a freshman, he certainly doesn't act like a freshman. He's really poised to be one of the better players to come through this program under Link Jarrett.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely right, Scott. And as I was mentioning earlier, coming in as a freshman first year of college, you have a workload academically, you have other things that are on your plate. And then coming in, starting for the Spartans this season, it's been really, really huge for him. And then winning that award, it's just got to be an amazing accomplishment for him. So congrats to Caleb Webster.
Other freshman starting at third base will be Furman's Trent Alley, who was eaten up by those last couple pitches. He takes to the plate here. First pitch he sees is strike one. Second pitch he sees is a swing and miss, strike two, and that does not look like a comfortable guy at the plate right now. He's got to settle in, let those errors in the infield kind of go by the wayside, as that was changed on the last hit from clinch from a hit to an error. That pitch will miss outside, 1-2. He's a freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, so he's playing a little bit closer to home than usual. And that one's going to be a well-missed swing and a miss, and Alley compounded those miscues in the infield to a bad AB, and he'll want that one back desperately.
He definitely will, Scott, and he'll definitely look to bounce back. The next few innings that they have was just saw the replay once again, but definitely not the start that you want as a player, and be looking to bounce back after.
And as a coach, you want to be assertive in your swings, and he was kind of half in, half out on that one, was Alley.
Right.
And that'll bring up Griffith Sims. Sims, the second baseman today, as he'll take the first two pitches he sees for a 0-2 count. A pitch from Frisbee outside. To 1-2, the count moves.
Sims Griffith, the junior, with a .212 average for the season. Not one of the most productive players, but however, he's out of stealing bases. He's 1 for 1 this year, so perhaps trying to develop a little speed in his legs, trying to maybe get used to that. But definitely something that has worked for him as he's, 100% at stealing bases this season so far.
And that one will be a high fly ball down the left field line. Spitznagel drifting back, and he will secure the play for out number 2. So an F7 for Sims Griffin.
Yeah, and definitely not the start that Furman would want. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name there. Definitely not the start that Furman wants this afternoon. Top of the second with 2 outs, as they were actually able to start off with a triple with Richards, and then eventually him scoring the top of the first. And just be interesting to see how Furman will bounce back from this if they're able to actually get on base this inning.
That'll bring up Dylan Love, the freshman shortstop in the lineup for the Paladins. Is try to inside out that one. Instead, it'll go out of play for a 1-2 count. Another native North Carolinian in this lineup for Furman. And actually his dad, Christopher, played at Western Carolina, so a lot of SoCon love in that family. That was going to be a swing and a miss, strike 2 for Love. And Frisbee has a chance to go 1-2-3 in this inning. After struggling so much in the first frame, he saw 6 hitters for Furman and come to the plate. To go 1-2-3 would be really big. To kind of cut down on that pitch count moving forward. Pitch to Love. Right up the middle, but there's a guy there. His name is Austin Embler. And we are headed to the bottom of the second after a clean inning for Matt Frisbee. UNCG leads this one 3-1. You're watching UNCG Baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.
Human beings can be hungry anytime they please. Maybe you messed up and didn't eat enough lunch. Perhaps dinner is very far away. It doesn't matter. Come to Arby's and solve your hunger problems with dollar sliders, cookies, small-size fries, drinks, and shakes, each for $1 from 2 to 5 p.m., not a.m. Arby's, we have the meat.
And welcome back to the UNCG Baseball Stadium. You can see Furman's dugout there. They're looking to shut down UNCG after a 3-spot put up in the first inning gave UNCG that 3-1 lead, and they were able to hold on to it in the top of the second frame. Austin Embler to start things off just like he did in the first frame. As that pitch will just miss a little bit high, I believe, ball 1. This is a Furman team that a year ago, as the pitch misses, or catches, I guess, just a little bit, strike 1, so 1-1 for Embler. And that one will be down the right field line. That could be extra bases, should be and will be. Embler rounding first and headed for second. He may peek at third. He does. He's going to go for third. And it will be close, but he will slide in safely for a leadoff triple. And Austin Embler says, Jabari Richards, I saw your triple in the first frame. I can do it in the second frame.
He sure does, Scott. Really good hit by Embler as we look at the replay again. Line drive down next to, well, Jabari Richards, as you mentioned, kind of struggling to get that ball all the way to third. He's able to round out to that third base. Now with an opportunity to score with Spitznagel now up.
And that's something that UNCG's done extremely well under Link Jarrett, and done extremely well again this season, is hitting triples. Something that's not necessarily something you always plan to do. It takes a little bit of luck just in the situation of where the players are lined up, but Link Jarrett seems to find a way to get his club to get some triples, rake down in that right field and left field line, and stand on third base after a good piece of hitting. Bring up Ben Spitznagel as he fouls that one off to move the count to 0-2. Embler's really been a pleasant surprise for this UNCG team, batting .384. A guy that really wasn't expected to be a big piece of this lineup going into the year necessarily. In the fall season, he really lit things up and has been hot ever since. That was going to be poked into left field. Grote coming in for it, and that will not be deep enough to score Embler. And that'll bring up Andrew Moritz. Moritz today had a sacrifice bunt in the first inning to advance the runners in Spitznagel and Embler to second and third respectively. The pitch low from Sherman. Sherman's already given up 5 hits today to UNCG.
And the score already matching the final score of yesterday's game.
So that pitch will be low, ball 2. And you talk about triples for UNCG. They rank first nationally with 23 coming into the weekend. So they have at least 24 now. And that was going to be slow chopper 3U, but it will score a run. So an RBI ground out there for Andrew Moritz. Wipes the base pass clean.
Now heading for your Spartans, the first baseman, number 18, Michael Goss.
Well, it looks like so far in this game, Andrew Morris is the sacrificer. Past 2 innings now.
Just see there, he did his job. Slotted over 3U, able to drive in Embler to increase that lead to 4-1. Goss will step in, and if you're Goss, you're happy your team scored a run, but you've been red hot at the dish with runners in scoring position even more. So as that one's going to be just slashed down the left side, and Michael Goss, I think he's swinging a hot stick right now. What do you say?
Oh, yeah, Scott, definitely he is. That was a really good hit right in between both Love and Alley. As we mentioned, Alley struggles earlier in the bottom of the first inning. But that was just a ball that was right in between, and it's very difficult for the shortstop and third baseman to ever get. A really good hit by Goss, is able to get on that first base.
And Goss in the series so far, 4 of 6, and there's another first pitch swing from Webster. And it nearly hits a spectator down that right field line, and if you're Webster, you got to be a little bit patient here. You're struggling, just kind of lay back, relax, find something you want to hit. Don't necessarily swing at that first pitch you see. Find something you really want. Got a runner on at first in Goss, able to get some action going. He's going up swinging. Swings at the first 2 pitches he sees to move to 0-2. 4-1 lead for UNCG. 2 away here in the bottom of the second frame. The pitch on its way, and that will be poked through the right side, and Caleb Webster swings at all 3 pitches and finds a way to drive one into right. So good job there by Webster to get back in that hit column. You see, just kind of poke that on the outside edge through that hole at second base.
Right out of the reach of Griffith, and Webster continues to prove his success so far in his first season for the Spartans. Really good job for Webster, as now 2 runners on first and second for the Spartans, looking to increase the lead is Shelton, of course.
It's going to be a slow knuckler down to the first base side. Elmy picks it up and scoops it. Slides over to first, and that will end the inning, but not after UNCG scores a run on a Andrew Moritz RBI groundout. We're headed to the top of the third. UNCG leads this one 4-1. You're watching UNCG Baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.
Some of the changes I've seen myself since I've been here at UNCG is just, I've been really challenged. I've been really encouraged to come out of my comfort zone.
As a professor, what I feel is most important is to find that passion.
You have this dream of doing something bigger for the world, but you don't know how to get there. This is the place where you go to figure it out.
The road to Omaha begins in Greenville, South Carolina. The Southern Conference Baseball Tournament comes to Fluor Field May 23rd through 28th. Enjoy some great college baseball with a trip to the NCAA's on the line in a city the New York Times calls one of the top places to go in 2017. Get your tickets to the tournament and book your rooms in that Greenville today. Experience the games. Explore the city.
Welcome back to UNCG Baseball Stadium. We talk about this SoCon tournament coming up, and it's going to be a tight one once again. Quick check at the standings. Mercer leads things at 6-1, followed by UNCG at 5-2. Western Carolina at 5-2. There are only 2 losses to UNCG, so hot otherwise. Sanford at 2-2 in league play. Wofford 2-2 in league play. VMI 3-4 in league play. Citadel 2-4 in league play. ETSU 2-5. Furman 1-6 in the back half, but really it's been a competitive league. You look up and down the standings, you've got 5 teams above 500 overall, so it should be a hotly contested SoCon tournament in that Greenville next month. as Frisbee will settle in. 1-2-3 inning for the right-hander. Last frame as that one's going to be popped up and should be out of play. It is for strike one as he faces the leadoff hitter for Furman, a guy who tripled off him down the right field line, much like Embler did last inning in the first. The pitch on its way, swung and missed there for strike two, a little bit off speed. Got Richards fooled there. Frisbee looking for the out pitch here, the 0-2. Outside, try to get him jumping there. Richards stayed home. Settle on the pitch. Into right field it goes, and Richards stays hot. 2 for 2 on the day. Both hits going to right field.
Now heading for Furman. Number 5, Carter Gross.
See that? He kind of just dropped it in. Shallow right. It's going to be a base hit every time.
It sure is, Scott. It's just not much the outfielder can do there. As we saw Sigmund getting the ball up, and it's just like I said, just not much you can do. I bet Austin Embler's looking on the other side. Well, I'm going to try and match that or do better when I get up to bat once again, as they both have triples. Now Richards having that single.
And Grote will take the first pitch he sees for strike one. He drove in Richards in the first frame with a little bit of a sac fly out to right. Check over to first, and back in time is Richards. We'll get you some scores around the league, some games already in progress. We'll get you that in the bottom half of the third. Around the league and a couple of national games sprinkled in. As Frisbee will check over to first. Back in time will be Richards. Good attendance here out at the ballpark. A couple of student tailgates going on around us. Women's basketball having a tailgate as well. So a lot of great food in the air. Hamburgers and hot dogs is a sign that summer is almost here. As the count moves to 1-1.
Students love food, Scott. That's all I have to say.
No doubt about it. Can't say that about anybody. It's one of the signs that summer is here. You can open up your grills. Memorial Day just a couple of weeks away. Beach trips, I'm sure, are in the plans for many around the area. There's a couple beaches nearby, Myrtle Beach, Outer Banks, Wilmington. A couple of destination spots in North Carolina as that pitch will miss outside for 3-1. Another sign that summer's almost here. The Masters taking place this weekend. Sign that golf is here. Of course, one of the most well-known tournaments in all of golf. As the 3-1 pitch misses high, and after such a clean inning ago, Frisbee's kind of ran into the struggles he had back in that first frame with getting the leadoff man on and giving up walks. A little bit of control issue for Frisbee, as that's the second walk of the day for him. That'll bring up Brandon Elmy. He singled to left in the first frame. Runners on at first and second. So this is an RBI situation. No outs for Elmy. The pitch. Plates it outside. Ball one. Looks like he's trying to work with the outside corner to Elmy. Did not get the call. Did Frisbee, though. Checking that runner on at second. The pitch. In there. Strike one. So 1-1 the count here to Elmy. Elmy looking to do some damage for the Paladins. He's got a primetime RBI situation here in the third. That'll be a swing and a miss, strike two. Elmy, a junior out of Venice High School in Venice, Florida. He's a Southern Conference Academic Honor Roll honoree both 2015 and 2016. Fractured his wrist a year ago against Presbyterian on April 13th, almost a year ago to the date. Is this going to be a swing and a miss? Strike three, chase that outside pitch, and Frisbee fooled him there. I'll bring up Landon Kay. He reached on a walk. As that pitch just sliced out of the zone and really fooled Elmy there. Landon Kay walked on 5 pitches in the first, got all the way to second before a couple flyouts and a strikeout ended the frame for Frisbee with the bases loaded. That pitch will catch the outside corner, strike one. Excuse me, it was not bases loaded, it was first or second and third. So Kay with an 0-1 count here, one away in the bottom half, excuse me, the top half of the third. Frisbee will settle. Checking on that runner in second. He'll walk him back. Kay on the year. A .324 hitter in this cleanup spot, a center fielder. 26 games, 25 starts, 34 hits, 18 RBIs in that cleanup spot. A pitch on its way from Frisbee outside, ball one. So 1-1 the count here to Kay. Landon Kay out of Charlotte, North Carolina. That pitch drops in there, strike two. So 1-2 the count here to Kay. Talk about Furman. They just named their new coach this season. We'll get you his name in just a minute. Check over the pitch. Outside the zone, ball to Brett Harker, a graduate of one of the strong baseball programs in the country, in the College of Charleston. He's a Greenville, South Carolina native, so somewhat of a return to his roots. He was the pitching coach for Furman. And the recruiting coordinators, that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike three for Landon Kay. So Landon Kay gets a K there as we get the second out of the frame. He's working the outside of the zone to these right-handed hitters is Frisbee. The only guy that's really had a lot of success against him the second time through is a lefty, Jabari Richards. Interesting fact here, Furman has a bit of a plus in their pitching staff. We'll get you that in the bottom half of the third. But you're going to want to hear this one. So 1-0 count here to Costa. Costa flew out to left field, a high fly ball in the first frame. He'll check his swing, and he gets called for the strike anyways. So 1-1 count, 2 away here in the top of the third frame. The 1-1. Right to Austin Embler. He misses the play, though. It seemed like an easy play. He took his eye off the ball, though. And that will be
Austin Embler just has to be kicking himself right now. as he had that, looking at the replay again.
Yeah, it's almost like he just took his eye off the
Yeah.
ball, like he just anticipated it weird.
He had the glove ready, wide open for the ball to go in there, but it just wasn't too focused. Perhaps maybe the sun got into his eye, or just was maybe too focused on ending the inning.
And they'll go hit on that, so Costa will reach on an RBI single to right. So that will bring home Jabari Richards for his second run of the day. He scored both of the runs for Furman. And on the play, Grote will advance to third. Bring up Sky Overton, who struck out in his first plate appearance back in the first frame. So the key for Matt Frisbee so far today is to not face Jabari Richards. Every time he's faced Jabari Richards, he's gotten a hit and scored. Every time he's not faced Jabari Richards in an inning, he's not given up a run. Standing over at third is Carter Grote. The pitch in the dirt. Ball 2. Frisbee will step back on the mound here against Overton. Overton looking to cash in on first and third. That'll be a swing and a miss, strike 2. So 2-2 count, 2 away here to Overton. Overton looking to cash in here and bring Furman to within 1 or maybe even closer than that. Overton will take a long look at his bat and settle in. You got to think Costa's going to be aggressive on the base pass as well if this gets down. The back half of the lineup has not been effective against Frisbee. The last 4 hitters did not record a hit. You can even expedite that out. The only players to record a hit have been the top 4 hitters in the lineup for Furman so far today. And Jabari Richards has 2 of those hits. So that pitch will be outside for ball 3. So full count here, runner will be going in Costa, and anything that gets down in the outfield, you got to think is going to score Costa.
Yeah, definitely, Scott. And Frisbee will, of course, be looking for the strikeout to avoid any more runners getting the home plate, to avoid the score for Furman.
And they'll call for time. Frisbee will settle. The pitch on its way. Into right it goes. Will it get down? It will. Right in front of Sigmund, rounding second and stopping at third will be Costa on an RBI single for Sky Overton and easily score Carter Grote.
Yeah, and as we look at the replay again, just a really good hit for Overton. And wasn't too much power where it was hit actually right towards Ryan Sigmund, right in front of him, and right into the ground as well, into the outfield, and got Furman to score once again. Definitely not the play that Frisbee was looking for with 2 outs, actually.
And he had 2 strikes on him. He looked ahead in the count, and those will hurt you when you get beat on those 2-strike counts. You're a pitcher, you got to capitalize when you're ahead.
Sure do.
Alley will step in. The first pitch he sees in there for a strike. The second pitch he sees is fouled off for a strike. So 0-2 count, and Frisbee's got to cash in here. Alley struck out his first time at the dish an inning ago. And he'll swing at that one. and in the inning as well. That will do it, but not after Furman plates two to get within one. 4-3. We're headed to the bottom of the third. UNCG leads it. You're watching UNCG Baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.
Our score, UNCG 4, Furman 3.
Some of the changes I've seen myself since I've been here at UNCG is just, I've been really challenged. I've been really encouraged to come out of my comfort zone.
As a professor, what I feel is most important is to find that passion.
If you have this dream of doing something bigger for the world, but you don't know how to get there, this is the place where you go to figure it out.
The road to Omaha begins in Greenville, South Carolina. The Southern Conference Baseball Tournament comes to Fluor Field May 23rd through 28th. Enjoy some great college baseball with a trip to the NCAA's on the line in a city the New York Times calls one of the top places to go in 2017. Get your tickets to the tournament and book your rooms in that Greenville today. Experience the games. Explore the city.
And welcome back to the UNCG Baseball Stadium as we have a canine fan in the crowd here today, a service dog making his way out. And we love to see that people of every area like to come out to the ballpark, and it's good to see that people that utilize those service dogs coming out as well. And we promised you a big storyline as we came back, and none bigger than Leo Mazzoni is a member of the Furman baseball family. It was announced on August 30th, 2016 that Leo Mazzoni would be joining the staff as a special advisor, I'd imagine, to the pitching staff. As the first pitch from his pitcher, Sherman, clocks in for strike one. And if you don't remember Leo Mazzoni, he was the architect of one of the best pitching staffs to step in the mound for my young childhood in the Atlanta Braves in the early 90s. That staff was filled with Cy Young Award winners up and down. You had Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, to name a few. And they've all been inducted, those trio, into the Baseball Hall of Fame, as that one's going to be in there for strike two. And during his 14-year tenure with the Braves from 1990 to 2005, they won 14 consecutive division titles from 91 to 2005. 5 National League pennants, and they were 1995 World Series champions. That was going to be Chopper Fowl. And, my goodness, Leo Mazzoni, one of the greatest to ever do in the role of the pitching coach in Major League Baseball, and really churned out one of the greatest dynasties, only winning one championship in my lifetime. As that one's going to be poked down the right field line and out of play into the Spartans' dugout. I'd imagine Furman was ecstatic to add this legend to their organization in their first year as a staff.
You're right, Scott. It's always got to be exciting for a collegiate team to have, as you were saying, a legend be on their staff as a mentor, a leader, and just to help them, of course, get around baseball as a sport, and must be pretty amazing for Furman.
Exactly right, and he's a guy that's well revered in all the ranks, and maybe could help your guys get a little bit more looks at that next level, as that's going to be fouled off and out of play. Because that name, Leo Mazzoni, carries a little bit of weight in the bigs. But Trejo now facing a 2-2 count here. The Guilford County native. He'll step back in. On deck is Ryan Clinch, as he'll swing and miss badly at that one there on the inside pitch for a strikeout. Be the first strikeout of the day for Sherman. I'll bring up Ryan Clinch. He reached on an E5 earlier, back in that first inning. And well, we have you. As Sherman will lean back and toss in there for strike one here to Clinch. as we have you. That Costa hit has now been changed to an error, so we will not get an RBI, and those 2 runs will go down as unearned for Furman. The pitch will be in there for strike 2 to clinch. So an 0-2 count here to clinch. Make it 1-2 as that pitch misses inside. And Clinch started out his career at East Carolina, over in the other Greenville, not that Greenville, but the other one, as that pitch will be fouled out of play to stay alive at 1-2. Of course, the Pirates had a huge season a year ago, nearly reached Omaha, losing a heartbreaker in Texas. So I believe Texas Tech, if I'm correct off the top of my head. As that pitch will be dropped into right center for a single for Ryan Clinch with 1 away.
Now ready for your Spartans, the right fielder, number 12, Ryan Sigmund.
Bring up Ryan Sigmund, as you'll see a good piece of hitting here. Just drops it right into shallow right center. That'll make the doctor happy.
Oh, definitely, Scott. Right above Griffith's head, and I know Ryan Clinch was kind of holding his breath on there to make sure that it was out of reach so that he wouldn't be able to get him for that out. Really good hit, though.
Sigmund will step in, show bunt, pull away for ball 1. So 1-0 count here to Ryan Sigmund. Sigmund, the 9-hole hitter for UNCG. He's been up and down this season, a 253 average right now for the senior. For the switch hitter, batting right-handed right now. He's ahead in the count, 2-0, and that'll make a struggling hitter very happy. You'll see a lot more pitches you want to hit when you're ahead in the count like that. Clinch on at first. Being held on. He's going. Pop up, hit and run was on. It won't work out though, as drifting underneath of it is Richards. He should make the snag. Nearly doesn't though. That would have been dangerous. Probably would have got him out on the fielder's choice anyways. But still a little bit of an adventure out and right.
The second baseman, number 8, Austin Embler.
That'll bring up Austin Embler, the guy who's carrying a big stick today. He's just a double and a home run away from hitting for the cycle. Still a long way to go, obviously. Those are the 2 of the harder ones to get. But he's got the single knocked out, and he's got the triple knocked out. One might say the triple would be the hardest in that. And he just broke his bat. So not a good stat for you if you're on a hot streak and the knob of the bat falls off. You say, hey, man, can you fix this one real quick? I like that stick. It was working well for me. Instead, he'll get a new one. Dig back into the plate. You don't see that one happen too often. Got all the way to the dish and his bat broke. UNCG's done a great job today with runners on, 4 of 11. As that pitch will miss outside. 4 ball 1. On deck is Ben Spitznagel. He's 1 for 2 today. Excuse me, he's 0 for 1 today. He walked in the first inning. Came around to score, though. Runner going in clinch. That throw's going to be in the dirt, and that catcher did not have a great look on it, did Costa. Clearly frustrated with his throw down to second. So now an RBI situation for Embler, which intensifies his at-bat just a little bit more. As he faces a 2-0 count, and Sherman has to throw him something at least close to over the plate.
Ryan Clinch has been 3 for 5 as far as stealing bases this season, so his speed shown there and getting to second, advancing to second base with that crazy throw from the catcher, Costa, from Furman here.
And coaches will call for time, as you'll see a great jump there from Clinch. I don't even know if a good throw would have gotten them there. Just a really good jump.
You're right. I don't think so either. And again, just showing really good speed there, really good poise as well, focusing on advancing to that second base.
And the pitching coach, Caleb Davis, out to talk things over with Sherman to kind of work him through a little bit of trouble here in the bottom of the third. Caleb Davis was hired on July 22nd, 2016. He was the pitching coordinator at Anderson, South Carolina University, his alma mater. So big jump there for Davis, going from a Division II school all the way up to Division I. But at Anderson, they were very successful. Coached one academic All-American while on campus at Anderson. Sherman will have to work through a little bit of a jam. Not too much. One out away from getting out of a jam. It would be the first time he hadn't given up a run on the scoreboard, though. If he can get out of this spot with Embler at the dish. That pitch will be right over the heart of the plate for strike one. Lefty-lefty matchup here between Embler and Sherman. Clinch over at second base. No retreat, but no throw. Clinch trying to add on another run to increase the lead to 2. He's going to have to do it off the bat of Embler. That pitch just catches the outside corner. Not sure about that one. But it moves the count to 2-2. So after the mound visit, Sherman's really settled in and got right back into it. Sherman checking on that runner, but nobody holding him on. The pitch poked into left. It could get down. Will it? No, it will not. And it's ranging over will be Love, and that will end the inning. Now it's going to be trouble, but a good play there by Love to end the frame with no runs across for UNCG. But they still lead at 4-3. We're headed to the top of the fourth. We're watching UNCG baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.
These are the student athletes. This is where they train. These are their homes. This is where they become Rhodes Scholars and academic All-Americans. These are the athletes they've always admired. This is where champions are crowned and moments are made. This is the Southern Conference.
And welcome back to the top of the fourth inning now with the UNCG Spartans facing the Furman Paladins here, as Spartans still leading 4-3. Furman now looking to either tie or even better score, with them now having 3 runs and not allowing UNCG to score in that bottom of the third. I'm going to hand it off to Scott with some scores around the league today.
Couple of scores of note. Mercer, who leads the SoCon, up on Sanford 7-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Western Carolina on top of East Tennessee State in Johnson City 7-5 in the bottom of the 5th. VMI on top of Wofford in the top of the 3rd 4-0. And that game in Spartanburg, South Carolina, home of the Terriers. And the only other game in the SoCon is the one you're watching right here, and UNCG leads that one 4-3. So that's all the SoCon scores around the league.
Thanks, Scott. As we have now the second baseman, Sam Griffith, up to bat once again. He is 0 for 1 today with a fly out to Ben Spitznagel earlier in the top of the second. As Frisbee throws, it will be hit right into the glove of Andrew Moritz. Sam Griffith attempted to hit that past him, of course, or even below, but couldn't get it there. That will be out number 1 for the Spartans in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, and for Matt Frisbee's been able to get a couple of big outs in the fly out, but really his main weapon so far today has been the strikeout. He's gotten a lot of strikeouts so far today. He's racked up 5 of them. That's a very, very high number already through just 3 innings of work.
It sure is, Scott, and that is definitely, as mentioning earlier, a confidence booster for him and the Spartans as a whole. There's 1 ball, 1 strike now against the shortstop for Furman, Dylan Love, who popped one out towards Austin Embler, the top of the second, with 2 strikes now. 1 ball, 2 strike, 1 out for UNCG. Frisbee looking to continue the momentum, as mentioned by Scott, with 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. Really good for Frisbee this afternoon. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Frisbee throwing again. Love will hit that towards Ryan Sigmund's way, but it will be out of play. So still 2 balls, 2 strikes, and once again 1 out for the shortstop this afternoon. Frisbee will throw again. That will be a ball, so now full count. As Scott, Frisbee has gotten in this situation before where he's been 2 strikes down against the batter and sometimes just unable to execute, as we see it right there with that 4th ball thrown.
Yeah, it's one of the things that you're going to be a high strikeout pitcher. You're trying to get a lot of swing and miss, locate your pitch all around the zone. The poison, though, with that is you're going to issue some walks if you don't catch those zones, and he's given up 3 today. And it's kind of been a struggle between a strikeout and walks right now for Frisbee. As 3 through 4 is not exactly what you want to see out of a starting pitcher.
Yeah, definitely not, Scott. We head back, well, we remember back to the top of the 2nd inning where didn't allow any, as we see that base hit, base hit by Jabari Richards once again. And Frisbee has been struggling against Jabari Richards this afternoon as we look at the replay again.
Yeah, and he tried to go inside there, and Richards, who has Frisbee's number, was not hesitant on swinging on the first pitch, and that's what compounds a walk to the 9-hole hitter even more so. As you walk that 9-hole hitter, you turn the lineup around, you give the guys that more than likely will get on base a chance to drive in runs, and right now a little bit of a issue here for Frisbee, runners on at 1st and 2nd.
Definitely, as Matt Frisbee now throwing against Carter Grote, the left fielder for Furman, had a sacrifice fly in the 1st, with him being able to walk in the top of the 3rd, looking to execute for the Paladins with 2 runners on for them. 1 ball, 1 strike, and only 1 out. Frisbee looking to get some sort of out here. Of course, a 6 strikeout would be best. Frisbee throws. That will be right above the glove of Caleb Webster, and Furman will score. So now the score of 4-4. It is now tied with still 2 runners on base, 1st and 2nd, as we look at it once again. Really good hit right above the glove. We see Webster reaching as far as he could, but he just could not get to the ball.
That was a good piece of hitting there from Grote. That's his 2nd RBI of the day. He had an RBI back in the 1st inning to score Richards. This time he scores Love.
Now we just had Ryan Clinch going up, having a little talk with the pitcher for UNCG, Matt Frisbee. And Brandon Elmy, the first baseman now, with a single in the 1st. A strikeout in the 3rd now. So 1 for 2 for the afternoon.
Looks like some action going on down in the bullpen. Can't necessarily see the number, but by the mechanics, it looks like number 30, Jack Maynard. Maynard, of course, the Friday guy for most of the season for Link Jarrett.
Frisbee with one strike now throws again. That will be a hit right into the glove of Ryan Sigmund. However, runner will advance to third base with 2 outs, 1 runner on first and 1 on second now.
Yeah, that's kind of what the doctor ordered if you're UNCG, and the same thing for Furman. You advance the runner, you do your job, but Matt Frisbee desperately needed an out here in the 4th inning, and he got one there on an easy one to right field. Now, if you just get one more out, you're out of the frame, and that would be huge.
It will be, as you were mentioning. Frisbee has sort of been struggling today with top of the 2nd inning as the exception for him. He really, really wants to get this last out so that UNCG just can at least maintain the score as it is with a tie score of 4-4, giving the Spartans a chance to take the lead here. So it will be grounded right to Trip Shelton, and that will be the 3rd and final out. Exactly what, as Scott would put, the doctor ordered for the Spartans. Score is now 4-4. We'll be back after this.
As we enter the bottom half of the 4th inning.
These are the student athletes. This is where they train. These are their homes. This is where they become Rhodes Scholars and academic All-Americans. These are the athletes they've always admired. This is where champions are crowned and moments are made. This is the Southern Conference.
Welcome back to this beautiful sunny day as Furman was now ties the game with the Spartans for 4, able to score 1 run on the top of the 4th, heading into the bottom of the 4th. Now we will have Ben Spitznagel, the left fielder, who is 0 for 1 today with the exception of a walk in the 1st. Turn it over to Scott right now with some updates for you this afternoon.
That's going to be a shallow ground out to the second baseman to start off the inning of work, but a couple of notes to pass along, a couple of guys from UNCG making their way in minor league baseball. Max Posey, one of the minor leaguers in the Mariners organization, number 6 overall in their prospect order. 7 innings pitched in his first start. He only gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 Ks, no runs for the Arkansas Travelers in his first start. Another guy, a year ago, the Friday guy for UNCG, now making appearances for the Greenville Drive. He had a nice outing of work for Hunter Smith. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 4 Ks. So if you're doing your math at home, of the 9 outs, 4 of them struck out. So good outing for Hunter Smith. And if you're wondering when you can catch some of these guys in Greensboro, well, Monday would be your best bet. Colin Woody back in town for the Delmarva Shorebirds for a 3-game set over against the Greensboro Grasshoppers. So check out Colin as he'll be back in town for the Shorebirds.
Thank you for that, Scott, as we just saw the 3rd ball thrown by Sherman here. Not a good start for him as he just threw the first strike against Andrew Moritz, who is 0 for 1 today. However, with an RBI in the 2nd.
And that would be an Olay. Got right through the legs of the shortstop, Love.
Now batting for the Spartans, the first baseman, number 18, Michael Goss.
We will have Michael Goss now, the first baseman, as he is actually 2 for 2 today, very productive for the Spartans. A single in the 1st and 2nd, and 2 RBIs in the 1st as well, being responsible for 2 of the 4 runs for the Spartans this afternoon. As mentioned earlier, one of the leaders of the team for the Spartans team this season, taking that first strike from Sherman with 1 out.
And they're going error on the reason for Moritz at first, as he's going to get nearly picked off, and that's going to throw away another error. So should be a 2-base error there.
Yeah, and we saw that right there is Andrew Moritz using his speed to get into third base, and just like that, now we have Michael Goss being able to hit yet another, or score again for, excuse me, I'm sorry. We'll have Andrew Moritz now ready to score for the Spartans as he's prepared and poised at third base right now, awaiting the hit by Michael Goss.
Yeah, it seemed like Elmy just kind of rushed that throw there. He had all the time in the world and forced it in.
As Michael Goss will pop that up to the, look like right fielder.
It would be the first baseman, Elmy,
first
making
baseman,
the play
excuse me.
on the edge there.
That will be the second out for UNCG this afternoon. Is now the freshman Caleb Webster will be up to bat. And he is 1 for 2 for the day with a fly out to right field in the first and a single in the second.
And Webster will end the inning with a fly out to Richards, and that will do it for the frame.
So just like that, the Spartans are not able to score, and the score remains the same, 4-4, heading up to the top of the 5th right after this.
Human beings can be hungry anytime they please. Maybe you messed up and didn't eat enough lunch. Perhaps dinner is very far away. It doesn't matter. Come to Arby's and solve your hunger problems with dollar sliders, cookies, small-sized fries, drinks, and shakes, each for $1 from 2 to 5 p.m., not a.m. Arby's, we have the meat.
Welcome back to the top of the 5th inning with UNCG now tied with Furman. As mentioned before, at the top of the 4th, Furman was able to accumulate 1 more run, tying it up with the Spartans. As for the Spartans, they were unable to score in the bottom of the 4th. Now, it was a very quick inning, as again, not able to accumulate, as they had 1 runner on third ready to score. They just were unable to do so. So now leading things off, the top of the 5th inning today is Jason Costa, the catcher for the Paladins this afternoon, as now Jack Maynard, the junior right-handed pitcher, will come in for the Spartans this afternoon, as Frisbee will be done for the day.
Not a great start for Matt Frisbee. He did a lot of good things, but when he needed him the most, he just kind of couldn't get out of those big jams. Maynard, I believe, this was his first appearance out of the bullpen off the top of my head. Could be wrong, but he hasn't certainly made a lot of appearances. He's been a Friday night guy all year. It's going to be a hard hit ball into center field and drifting back. Mort's unable to get to it over his head, and stopping at second is Costa.
And that is not the start that Maynard was looking for with his first outing at pitching against the catcher. Jason Costa is able to get a double. Looking at the replay here, he backs up Andrew Moritz up near the fence. Looking at him rounding the base there. Really good start for the Paladins now, and they will be looking to break the tie this inning. Now we have Sky Overton, the designated hitter for Furman this afternoon, being 1 for 2 this afternoon. Top of the first, struck out, and the third hit a single, was responsible for an RBI as well. Excuse me, hit an RBI single. As Maynard throws, and that will be ball number 1.
So they called a balk there.
It looks like they did, yeah.
Will advance the runner to third, and Maynard in a good bit of hot water right now.
He sure is, and it's, again, just not the start that Maynard was looking for, relieving Frisbee this afternoon.
And Maynard's been a guy that's been really hot and cold, and if you're a guy that's hot and cold, you don't want to start slow, and that's exactly what's happened here.
Really don't, as Overton will hit that towards Spitznagel's vicinity. That will be out of play as Overton hits it towards the left side of the field. There, strike number 1. And that looked to be really, really close to a home run.
Yeah, that's one of those, if it's fair, it's gone. But
Sure.
thankfully for the Spartans, it was not fair.
You are definitely right on that. So with 1 strike, Maynard looking to execute as Overton will now hit it towards the right side of the field, out of play. So it'll be strike 2, 0-2 count.
And this is a spot, if you're Link Jarrett, you got to be extremely happy. You got your Friday night guy for most of the year coming in a tough spot, a spot he's been in all year long, and he comes in and starts struggling. This is not exactly what you want to see. You want to see him come in and try to earn that spot back in the weekend rotation.
The 2 strikes, Maynard would throw. And that will be a foul once again, out of play, almost directly behind Overton.
And in an effort to show the difference in Jack Maynard, hot and cold, Western Carolina 2 weeks ago, 7 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 7. A week later, only went 1 1/3 against ETSU, 5 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned. And now he's missing away. This has kind of been his problem. He can't find the strike zone. He's ahead in the count. He's got to jam it in the zone.
He sure does, and that will be the first ball thrown as the 2 strikes were a result of hits out of play. That will be ball number 2. So with a runner on third, Overton, 2 balls, 2 strikes against him. Overton looking to help his teammates score here. Jason Costa. As
it'll be a strikeout swinging, and he'll be tagged on the out there from the catcher. But Maynard really has great stuff, and you'll see it here as it just kind of slices through the zone. But he missed the first couple way outside, and you're not going to jump on that. But he has great stuff. He's had games this year where he struck out 7 against Maryland Eastern Shore, struck out 8 against Princeton, struck out 7 against Lafayette, struck out 7 against Western Carolina. All those games were in a row, and Link Jarrett kind of thought, hey, I might have something here. He's giving up runs, but he's getting these strikeouts, and just never really materialized in that Friday spot.
As now the third baseman, Trent Alley, will be up to bat, as he is 0 for 2 today with a ground out in second and a strikeout in third. As that is a ball that definitely outside the strike zone. Ball number 2 is Ryan Clinch definitely did a good job of making sure that wasn't a wild throw there. So now Trent Alley with 1 out, looking to be part of a score. He will throw it, or excuse me, hit it right towards Michael Goss, who will throw it to Clinch. And that will be a run.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the right decision there for Michael Goss. It was going to be a tough play, and you have to make a spot-on throw in the tag, and was unable to do so as a good heads-up base running there from Costa. And able to kind of get down in front of the tag, and you can see they're clearly ahead of the tag, but if you're Goss, just take the out. There's no real reason to kind of force that there. Instead of being in a two-out situation, down by 1 run, you're down by 1 run and you only have 1 out, so it kind of compounds the situation for a pitcher that's kind of struggling to get out. So I think you just take the sure out there, and fortunately that's not what Goss did. If you're Maynard, though, just pound the zone here. See if you can get out of the inning. You're facing the back half of the lineup. You can probably do some damage here.
Yeah, definitely. As you were mentioning earlier, the bottom half has been the weaker part of the lineup this afternoon for Furman, with Sam's Griffith being 0 for 2 today. Fly out to left field and then fly out to center field in the 4th. With the left being in the second inning, 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Maynard looking to get that second out and preventing any more runs, of course.
And like I said, this back half of this lineup, these 7, 8, and 9 hitters haven't recorded a hit so far today. They're combined 0 for 6. So this is a part where you should be able to eat up. And right now he's already got 1 man on the fielder's choice.
Griffith will hit that out of play towards the right side of field. We see some fans over there trying to get that ball. It was good to have the support for the collegiate teams out here, as definitely is well appreciated by the team and coaches. As that will be a swing and a miss. That will be the first strikeout for Maynard. So now 2 outs.
It's actually his second strikeout. Struck out Overton just a moment ago. So
excuse me, yes.
His 2 outs right on the scoreboard right now are strikeouts.
As we will have Dylan Love, the shortstop for Furman now. Hit a pop-up in the 2nd and walked in the 4th. Again, has not hit the ball as far as that goes. He will take that first strike from Maynard. And now we'll take a ball from Maynard. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Maynard looking to close the inning, not allow any more runs, with the score now being 5-4 Furman. And it was just tied. And we will have a runner get to second.
Good stolen base there by Alley. Good jump to kind of take second very, very easily, not even with a throw. And the way that Maynard's been throwing kind of wild in the dirt, might be a good shot for him to advance to third here too if he wants it.
Love will hit that towards third base out of play.
It's actually Alley's first stolen base of his career, a freshman taking advantage.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The top of this 5th with 1 run allowed. Score being 5-4 Furman. With Trent Alley on second base. Maynard throws. And that will be
good job there by Love to kind of battle it off. He's got 2 strikes with 2 outs. Runner on at second, an RBI situation for your 9-hole hitter who's doesn't really have a 9-hole hitter average. A 324 average, hasn't hit well today, only 0 for 1. But a chance to drive in runs here. He has 4 RBI on the year. Wants to make it 5 here to increase that lead out to 2.
One ball, 2 strikes. Maynard will throw.
Just enough to get a piece of that one and foul it off for Love. Looked like it might have been the strikeout there, but just got a little bit of a piece of it to foul that one off.
It certainly is. Kind of difficult to tell here from this angle, but getting a piece of it once again as he will stay alive with 2 outs and 2 strikes against him. Maynard looking to close the inning now, not allowing another run. Will throw. That will be a hit right to Austin Embler, and he will throw a 2-goss for the 3rd and final out. So score is now Furman 5, UNCG 4. We're back to the bottom of the 5th after this.
Some of the changes I've seen myself since I've been here at UNCG is just, I've been really challenged. I've been really encouraged to come out of my comfort zone.
As a professor, what I feel is most important is to find that passion.
You have this dream of doing something bigger for the world, but you don't know how to get there. This is the place where you go to figure it out.
The road to Omaha begins in Greenville, South Carolina. The Southern Conference Baseball Tournament comes to Fluor Field May 23rd through 28th. Enjoy some great college baseball with a trip to the NCAA's on the line in a city the New York Times calls one of the top places to go in 2017. Get your tickets to the tournament and book your rooms in that Greenville today. Experience the games. Explore the city.
Welcome back to UNCG and Furman. This will be the 2nd game played now, the 3-game series, 3-weekend game series, as Furman now leads UNCG, able to score 1 run in the top of the 5th. Now the bottom of the 5th, UNCG now looking to at least tie or even take the lead. And now we'll hand it over to Scott as he has some scores for us for the women's softball team, or the softball team for UNCG this afternoon.
And the first game of the day for UNCG, they lost their Game 1 doubleheader to Mercer in Macon, Georgia, 6-2, and they trail now 3-2 in Game 2. As there's going to be a swing and a miss. Strike 1 for Shelton. They trail 3-2 in the bottom of the 3rd in that one. So tough road to hoe for the Spartans in Macon.
As Shelton will hit one out of play towards the right side of the field. That'll be strike 2 for Trip Shelton now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Trip Shelton's day today consists of a single in the bottom of the 1st and a round out in the bottom of the 2nd. So 1 for 2 today, with his average being .346 for the season. Been really good help for the Spartans this season. Throws, and that will be hit directly behind him. So another foul out of play for Shelton, staying alive here with 2 strikes.
Shelton started out the year in a leadoff spot, so he's really comfortable starting these innings off as he fouls that one off there to stay alive at 1-2. This is a good spot for the Spartans to kind of get things going. When you got Shelton, Trejo, and Clinch, a couple guys that have been very good in the lineup all year long.
Shelton will hit that right towards the second baseman, Sims Griffith, for the first out. So now 1 out for the Spartans, as now Cesar Trejo will be hitting, and he is 1 for 2 today with a single in the 1st and a strikeout in the 3rd.
This is a tough spot for the Spartans. They probably thought they'd be able to hit this pitcher in Sherman, and he seems to have had their numbers after the first 2 innings of work. He's put up back-to-back zeros.
He sure has, and Sherman seems to be feeling it as he looks calm and composed now on the pitcher's mound throwing against this Spartans team, as they have not been able to come up with any runs these past few innings now, the bottom of the third and fourth. With 1 ball and 1 strike against Trejo here, and 1 out as well. Trejo looking to at least get on base, and that will be a swing and a miss now with 2 strikes. So yeah, as you mentioned, Sherman getting really comfortable here now towards the now second half of the game here. Sherman throws. That will be inside. That will be ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Cesar Trejo trying to go back to his productivity. The first inning where he was able to get a single. He will pop 1 up right into the glove of first baseman Trent Alley. No, excuse me. Brandon Elmy. That'll be the second out, as Ryan Clinch, as Scott mentioned before, going into the more productive part of the productive part, excuse me, for the batters of UNCG this afternoon. Ryan Clinch today is 2 for 2 with 2 singles, as he hits 1
to the second baseman, Griffith. He'll throw over to first in time, and that'll do it.
We'll be back after this with the score still 5-4 Furman.
Some of the changes I've seen myself since I've been here at UNCG is just, I've been really challenged. I've been really encouraged to come out of my comfort zone.
As a professor, what I feel is most important is to find that passion.
Do you have this dream of doing something bigger for the world, but you don't know how to get there? This is the place where you go to figure it out.
The road to Omaha begins in Greenville, South Carolina. The Southern Conference Baseball Tournament comes to Fluor Field May 23rd through 28th. Enjoy some great college baseball with a trip to the NCAA's on the line in a city the New York Times calls one of the top places to go in 2017. Get your tickets to the tournament and book your rooms in that Greenville today. Experience the games. Explore the city.
And we'll go back to the top of the 6th inning now, with Furman still leading the UNCG Spartans 5-4, as now they will be looking to extend their lead. Once again, the Spartans unable to produce any runs in the bottom of the 5th. The score remaining the same. And now leading off for Furman in this top of the 6th inning will be the right fielder, Jabari Richards, and he has had a really productive day, being 3 for 3 with a triple, an RBI in the first, and 2 singles in the third and the fourth. And Scott Richards, just definitely not the batter you want to face if you're Maynard today for the Spartans, is it?
No, he's definitely not. He's been a guy that's kind of been all over the place. His first 2 at-bats, he singled, and he singled, and then he dropped in a triple and then capped that off with a single back in the fourth. So he's really been all over the base pass for Furman. He's also scored 2 runs, so really been a threat at the top of the order for the Paladins.
As we see Maynard throw the first ball to Richards. I'm sure Maynard is thinking, I don't want to make the same mistakes that Frisbee did, as he just threw the second ball here. Looking to not allow Richards to even get on base, of course. But with a 3 for 3, Richards will swing, and that will be a miss. Or actually be a foul directly behind him, barely, but it will count as a strike. So strike 1 there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Richards is, as we say, feeling it this afternoon so far, as he will hit it towards second base, Austin Embler, and that will be the first non-hit that he has today.
Yeah, it's been quite a task for the UNCG pitchers to get out of the frame when that guy comes to the plate. It seems like every time he's come up, they've scored runs in that inning. Whether it be the first, third, or fourth, they've gotten damage done.
Yeah, it sure has, and the score, of course, shows it, as Richards was a big part of that. Of course, good start for Maynard, not allowing Richards to get on base, as now he faces Carter Grote, the left fielder for Furman, who has also been pretty productive, hitting a single RBI in the top of the fourth, as he will hit that towards Caleb Webster, and Caleb will get that out, thrown to Goss, and that will be the second out. So just like that, really good start for Maynard. 2 outs for the Spartans, and perhaps Maynard kind of heating up a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a good spot to kind of figure it out here if you're Maynard. You can go the full distance, save the bullpen a little bit, and give your team a chance to win this ball game, a one-run game. If you can keep it and preserve it, it's exactly what Link Jarrett needed out of his bullpen arm.
It sure was, as of course the Spartans not looking to give up any more runs, as we're already behind, looking to get back on the field and batting and scoring position to either tie the game or take the lead back, as that will be now 2 strikes against Brandon Elmy, the first baseman, who singled in the first, had a strikeout in the third, or got struck out in the third, and popped one at a fly out towards Ryan Sigmund's way in the fourth, as that will be the first ball thrown by Maynard. So 1-2 count with him throwing again, now 2-2 count. Be 2 balls, 2 strikes, and with 2 outs, Maynard once again having an opportunity to end the inning here, as that will be a swing and a miss. And just like that, very good inning for Maynard here, as they did not give up any runs. Score remains 5-4 Furman. We'll be back to the bottom of the 6th inning after this.
These are the student athletes. This is where they train. These are their homes. This is where they become Rhodes Scholars and academic All-Americans. These are the athletes they've always admired. This is where champions are crowned and moments are made. This is the Southern Conference.
And welcome back to the bottom of the 6th inning. Furman still leading the UNCG Spartans 5-4. However, really good outing for Maynard, as he did not allow any hits, even recording his 3rd strikeout of the game, ending that top of the 6th. Now, as up to bat, we will have, first, sending it to Scott real quick, we have an update of the pitcher, have some information of the pitcher, as that will be the first out for the Spartans.
Yeah, a little fly out to right for Sigmund, but Grant Sherman, if you wonder why he's doing so well for Furman, well, he's had his best start of his career against UNCG, and that came when he went 7 solid innings, gave up just 7 hits, no runs, 4 Ks, and a 10-0 win at UNCG in 2015. He sat out all of 2016 after a UCL injury, requiring Tommy Johns, of course. So he's finally just working his way back and settling into form, it seems like, today here in Greensboro.
As Austin Embler will hit that right in between left field and center field, and that will be a double for Embler here.
And just like that, the guy is just a home run away from hitting for the cycle. He's already got a single, a double, and a triple to his name.
And I know he's probably not keeping track of his own stats, or perhaps he is, but that's just got to be really good, a really good feeling for Embler there, as we just saw that replay real quick. as only 1 out for the Spartans, 1 runner on second. As you mentioned earlier, Scott, Austin Embler, surprising productive player for the Spartans this season. He's really showing it here today.
Yeah, he really has. 3 for 4 on the day, and a guy that UNCG has really counted on for the last 2 years is the guy that's going to step into the batter's box here. And we might have a new pitcher. There's going to be a long discussion here. Maybe see a new pitcher, but the guy who comes on deck circle, coming to the batter's box now, Ben Spitznagel, a really big piece of this puzzle for the last 2 years. He's got a chance to cash in here. He's 0 for 2 today, and so is Moritz behind him. So a big part of the lineup that hasn't contributed so far today, with a big opportunity here to tie this ball game and maybe take the lead back. With runners on, UNCG's batting 4 for 14, but with runners on in scoring position, just 2 for 10. So Spitznagel wanting to up that average a little bit higher than 200 here.
And that will be an attempt at a bunt. However, it didn't go in the Spitznagel's, or the way he wanted it to go, so that would count as a strike there.
Yeah, Spitznagel was able to get that down there. That's going to be easily advance Embler to third. Got a great jump on the pitch, did Embler. He was going to be in safe by a mile. The only question was the play going to be made at third base from Crawford?
With 1 strike and 1 out. Spitznagel will hit it towards left field. That will be an out, as Embler will remain on second. As Carter Grote, the left fielder, able to get that second out. And just like that, 2 outs for the Spartans. Definitely not the start that they're looking for, with the exception of Austin Embler's productivity to second base this inning.
And that's a huge out for Furman, because you take away the possibility of getting to Goss here if you get rid of Moritz. And Goss has really kind of done the damage today. He's got a pair of singles to his name and a 2 RBI single at that.
That will be the first strike thrown by Sherman. Sherman throws again. That will be a good hit by Andrew Moritz, and that will have Austin Embler come in to score. Good base hit and RBI single for Andrew Moritz. And Scott, you were just talking about how unproductive the first 3 hitters in the batting lineup. As we take a look at the replay once again, hitting it right out of the reach of Griffith there. Talking about how unproductive they were, but Andrew Moritz just, well, proved wrong right there. So very good hit for Moritz.
Yeah, that's the second time in a couple at bats that Moritz has cleaned up the table in front of Michael Goss, and I'm sure Goss will take it, but the hot hitter has a chance to drive in a run this time, though, as Moritz reaches safely.
So the score now being 5-5 with still 2 outs. Austin Embler able to get in to score with Morris hit. Michael Goss now up with 2 strikes now. So UNCG able to tie, but Michael Goss, of course, looking to add to it before the inning is over, of course. So 2 strikes, 2 outs. Grant Sherman is getting set to throws it to first baseman Brandon Elmy. Sherman throws, and Goss will pop one up into the glove of Elmy, and that will end the inning. But the score being 5-5 now tie game. We'll be back at the bottom of the top of the 7th after this.
Human beings can be hungry anytime they please. Maybe you messed up and didn't eat enough lunch. Perhaps dinner is very far away. It doesn't matter. Come to Arby's and solve your hunger problems with dollar sliders, cookies, small-sized fries, drinks, and shakes, each for $1 from 2 to 5 p.m., not a.m. Arby's, we have the meat.
Hello and welcome back to the top of the 7th inning here, with the Spartans able to produce 1 run in the bottom of the 6th off of Andrew Moritz' single hit, but RBI for Austin Embler getting in from second. So the score now 5-5, tie ball game, as Furman now not being as productive, top of the 6th, having a quick outing there, not able to produce any runs. So the score tied, as we will have Landon Kay, the center fielder, up to bat, and his day today consists of a strikeout in the 3rd and a ground out in the 4th, with the exception of the walk in the 1st. 0 for 2 as far as hits, and he will hit one into the vicinity of Ryan Sigmund. Ryan Sigmund looked like he was caught with the sun there, Scott.
Yeah, that was an easy out, and he just kind of lost that one in the sun. It's unfortunate for UNCG, as it was definitely a can of corn out, but just never found it in the sun. Just straight up into the sunlight there, and Ryan Sigmund fighting it, and just lost it.
He sure was. I mean, it looked like he was right underneath the ball for a good second there, but just couldn't continue to follow it, as now that is an easy double for Kay there, as he advances to second. As now we will have Jason Costa, the catcher for Furman, and he is responsible for a double in the 5th and a single RBI in the 3rd. As Maynard will throw that first ball. Maynard throws again. That will be a swing and a miss, so strike 1 there.
And if you're UNCG, just 2 innings of work out of Jack Maynard, a guy who's normally a starter, he can go a little bit further than this. So you've got a little bit of range here with your pitching and options. That do have 2 guys warming up in the bullpen for the Spartans, though.
Maynard throws again. That will be ball number 2. So 2 balls, 1 strike. As Maynard a lot better in the top of the 6th inning, not allowing any runs to be scored, and that helped UNCG tie the game in the bottom of the 6th. Maynard throws again, and that looked to almost hit Costa there.
Yeah, I think he wanted it. I think it might have brushed that elbow, but home plate umpire Greg Howard said, nah, not today.
He sure did. Good thing Costa isn't hurt or anything. It'll be 3 balls, 1 strike now. Maynard checking second, now throws. Now will be strike 2, full count now. With Landon Kay on second, the lone runner for Furman as of right now, with the full count here for Maynard. Maynard glancing at second, now throwing. Costa will hit that towards Webster, and Webster lets that ball get behind him.
Nearly a smart play there by Webster. Thought he was going to roll foul, didn't. And now he puts his pitcher in even more of a troublesome spot.
He sure does, and that was just a very difficult or a close call there for Furman. As we take a look at it once again, Webster looks and he believes it's going to be foul, but it's not.
Almost hit that lip of that grass and popped in. That lip of that grass wasn't there. It might have just rolled foul, but instead it rolled back in.
So now with Costa on base, got a runner on first and third now. Sky Overton hitting it out of play towards third. Strike one there. So with 0 outs, a runner on first and a runner on third. And doesn't really look good for Maynard right now, does it, Scott?
Now it's a tough spot here. Runners on at first and third, no outs, but you got to worry about the hitter at hand. And then once you get past Overton, it gets a little bit easier in that order. It's a much more manageable task if you break it down into segments. Because the back half of that lineup, as we mentioned time and time again, have yet to record a hit. A combined 0-4-8. So that back half of the order is something you can feast off of.
Maynard throwing, and a great play by Caleb Webster.
Da-na-na,
and that will be
a
double play.
Wow, what a play by Webster. Makes up for that near play over at first. And what an absolute play. And you talk about Webster, since he's been inserted into the lineup, 17-4, and that's another reason why, as he just ranges over, snags out of the air. Not a great angle, but throw across the diamond. And just a fantastic play.
As we see now, the infield kind of huddling up around Maynard real quick. Just, again, a fantastic play by Caleb Webster. All of a sudden, it's 2 outs, as it was 0 outs before. So, really good play by the freshman, as everything we've been saying this afternoon, Scott, he's just been proving us right. Winning that award and his stellar play for the season, just really good, as we will now have the third baseman Trent Alley up to bat today, and he's been 1 for 3. The ground out in second, a strikeout in third, and a single in fifth.
It's actually not going to be Allie. She subbed out last inning. It's going to be number 7, Jake Crawford.
Excuse me. Now 1 strike again against Jake Crawford here. Again with 2 outs. Caleb Webster made life a little easier for Maynard here. Now 1 ball.
Crawford on the year. Not sure of his stats. We'll get that for you in just a second.
That will be strike 2 thrown by Maynard. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Maynard has a chance to not allow any runs here.
Crawford on the year, 260 hitters. Appeared in 26 games, all of those starts, though. It's the first time being used off the bench.
As that will be ball number 2, and Clinch doing a good job there of handling the ball, ensuring that the runner on third does not get to home plate and score. So Maynard again having the opportunity to close the inning, will throw. And that will be in play, but that will be an out. The third and final out. The score still tied. It's, of course, an amazing double play with Caleb Webster. Score still tied. Score still tied. Bottom of the 7th after this.
Some of the changes I've seen myself since I've been here at UNCG is just I've been really challenged. I've been really encouraged to come out of my comfort zone.
As a professor, what I feel is most important is to find that passion.
You have this dream of doing something bigger for the world, but you don't know how to get there. This is the place where you go to figure it out.
The road to Omaha begins in Greenville, South Carolina. The Southern Conference Baseball Tournament comes to Fluor Field May 23rd through 28th. Enjoy some great college baseball with a trip to the NCAA's on the line in a city the New York Times calls one of the top places to go in 2017. Get your tickets to the tournament and book your rooms in that Greenville today. Experience the games. Explore the city.
And welcome back to the second game of the series, UNCG versus Furman, with a tie game once again, as Furman not able to accumulate any runs in the the top of the seventh. Now in the bottom, we get to Michael Goss, first baseman for the Spartans, who has had a pretty productive day, being responsible for 2 runs, 2 RBIs. He had a single 2 RBI hit in the bottom of the first, and then a single again in the second. So he's 2 for 3 today, and will be looking to break this tie with Furman this afternoon.
And it's actually going to be Webster to the plate to start this inning off. And new pitcher on the mound for the Paladins, Heath Hawkins, a 5.16 ERA. 22 and 2/3 innings work. He's given him 26 hits, 16 runs, 13 of those were earned, 18 Ks, and opponents are batting .283 against the right-handed option. So they go from lefty to righty when they go to the pen, does the Paladins.
So with Webster's stellar play as an outfielder this past inning, as he hits one directly behind him out of play for strike 1, he will be looking to have that same productivity, except, of course, scoring for the Spartans, increasing their run count this afternoon. Looking to break this tie and take that 2-0 series lead for this weekend against Furman. As Webster will hit one towards second base, and that will be the first out for the Spartans there.
That's just a great play there by Griffith to range over backhand and throw it across the diamond. Just a good play by the second baseman. You got to tip your hat if you're Webster on that play. And Hawkins will throw across the plate. Heath Hawkins, a sophomore, another North Carolina product out of Matthews, North Carolina. So a lot of North Carolina products throughout this team for the Paladins, as they are very, very close to North Carolina, especially western North Carolina. Is only about a 2-3 hour drive from Cullowhee and all those places out in Nashville as well.
Shelton will hit one right in the glove of center fielder K. So Landon K, the center fielder for Furman, will get that second out for Furman, as now Cesar Trejo comes up to bat. And his day today, him being 1 for 3 with a single in first, but then a strikeout in third and a pop-up in fifth. So 2 outs, pretty good start for Hawkins, and him relieving Sherman this afternoon, as he will throw that first ball to Trejo. Hawkins throws again. Trejo will hit one down third base. Out of play, though. That will count as a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike now.
And if you're Trejo, you can't necessarily take huge hacks here. You just kind of got to get on the board, get a single. And if maybe you might not score this inning, but at least get your hitters a chance to see what Hawkins has.
As Hawkins will throw that second strike, the swing and a miss, as Scott was just telling us about not swinging at everything, as he will swing once again, but he will barely get that ball, and that will be a foul. So he will stay alive there. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Good job there by Hawkins. Kind of worked the outside of the zone, try to get Trejo to chase ahead in the count. He's got a couple pitches to work with. You might see this one a little bit closer to the plate.
So Hawkins throws there, and Trejo will hit one right in between second base and the second baseman. And that will be a base hit.
Yeah, Hawkins there was trying to get Trejo to chase, and instead Trejo just kind of nudged his bat a little bit further, drove that right up the middle. That's exactly what you want to see, is just see it's kind of outside the zone and just pokes that one into center field, just Trejo, to keep this line moving.
So now Ryan Clinch up to bat today, or excuse me, in the bottom of the 7th. With 2 outs, Hawkins throws. That will be the first strike. So with Trejo on first, Clinch looking to help him advance and possibly score with 2 outs, as Clinch will hit that directly behind him. It will be strike number 2.
Yeah, and Clinch now's got to choke up a little bit. He's got to protect that strike zone a little bit more. A 2-strike count here. It's always want to see your hitters, how well they bat with that 2-strike approach. Kind of shorten that swing up, just try to drive something. A little bit of a pitch out there. Maybe afraid Trejo was going to run. Instead, just kind of trot slowly back to first.
And that will count as ball 1. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Hawkins looking to close the inning now for Furman. As that will be an out, as Trejo attempted to get to second base. So score still tied, 5-5. Be back to the top of the 8th after this.
These are the student athletes. This is where they train. These are their homes. This is where they become Rhodes Scholars and academic All-Americans. These are the athletes they've always admired. This is where champions are crowned and moments are made. This is the Southern Conference.
And welcome back to UNCG versus Furman Paladins, as UNCG was unable to score the bottom of the 7th, now heading into the top of the 8th. Still, we have Maynard as the pitcher for the Spartans. Doing okay the past few innings, not allowing runs in the 6th or the 7th, as at bat, starting this inning, this top of the 8th inning, at bat will be Sims Griffith, the second baseman for Furman. Sims Griffith and a fly out to Ben Spitznagel, left field in the 2nd, and then another fly out to center field, Andrew Moritz in the 4th. Excuse me, as well as the strikeout in the 5th. So Scott, they're at the point in which Maynard could probably have some success, right?
Yeah, the back half of that lineup is where UNCG pitchers have feasted so far today. between Griffith and Love. They're combined 0 for 5. They do have a walk, though, to Love. That came back in the 4th inning.
As Maynard will throw 2 consecutive strikes. Was a good confidence booster, even throwing that first strike to start off the inning. Sims Griffith with an 0-2 count. And he will hit one towards Sigmund's vicinity, and this time Sigmund will get that out as he will not allow the sun to deter him away from that ball. So 1 out for the Spartans there.
And that's a good way to start if you're Maynard, because you talk about this back half of the lineup, how unproductive they've been. The top half of the lineup has been extremely productive, and it starts with Jabari Richards, 3 for 4 today, and you don't want to get to that point in the lineup with runners on. So he's already done 1 away here for Maynard. He's going to have to face Richards, but if you can face Richards with nobody on, that'd be a big, big plus.
And that'll be the first strike thrown by Maynard. As you mentioned, Dylan Love not having the day he'd be wishing to have as Maynard throws again. That'll be strike 2. So once again in a good position to get that out here. Oh, 0-2 count. Maynard throws again. That'll be a little outside. That will be ball 1. So now 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. And on deck, as Scott mentioned, Jabari Richards is Love will hit it towards Austin Embler's vicinity. Austin Embler throwing it to us. Unable to make the play, it looks like. And he was not.
That's just a good pitch, or a good piece of hitting there. Really tough play for Embler to make. Had to range over. It would have been had to been a great throw to get the out. Just a good piece of hitting there.
As we just saw that replay of that hit once again. Austin Embler attempting to throw it back towards Michael Goss's way. Just unable to get that out. So with 1 out, facing Jabari Richards, who was 3 for 4 today. As Scott mentioned earlier, very productive.
Yeah, Richards is done very, very well. 2 singles and a triple. That triple was a fire starter to start this game. Got Furman out to a 1-0 lead, and UNCG took that lead back, but it didn't last long. It's a tie ball game here in the top of the 8th.
That will be a swing and a miss. Strike 1 for Richards. As Maynard, of course, looking to not allow Richards on bases. Richards will attempt to bunt, so now it's 2 strikes. With 1 out, and then a runner, of course, Dylan Love on first there.
Good bit of action down in the UNCG bullpen. Not sure who the pitcher is. Could be Sykes. The closer getting loose, maybe.
Maynard throws, and that will be a strikeout. Definitely the person you want to strike out, right, Scott?
Exactly right. He's been the guy that's been doing the damage and just chased 1 away, and that's Maynard's 5th K in relief right now in 3 2/3 innings, and maybe the bullpen is where Maynard wants to be, as he seems to be shining right now.
Definitely right about that, Scott. Is the left fielder Carter Grote now coming up to bat as he hits 1 out of play towards third base, so that will count as a strike. So with 2 outs, yeah, Maynard is feeling a lot more comfortable now, and see if he'll be able to end the inning here without allowing any runs, keeping the score tied. Maynard throws. That will very well be a swing and a miss. Strike 2.
Well done here by Maynard, working ahead in the count. Didn't really panic after giving up a single to Love on just a weak hit ball, but really kind of settled back in and attacked these 2 hitters, hitting Richards and Grote very, very well.
Maynard throws a little outside. Clinch attempts to throw all the way to second base to Austin Embler as
It's almost like Clinch kind of wanted to throw it on there so quick that the
Right.
ball wasn't there yet. He would have had him if he threw right away and instead kind of pump faked and allowed the base runner to get there and Grote. You see here, he just kind of pump faked. Maybe didn't have a great grip on the ball.
perhaps that may have been the reason, but very good awareness on Furman's part for Love as he is now on second, and that will be
A swing and a miss, strike three, a throw down to first in time, and that will end the frame. Unscathed for UNCG. We're headed to the bottom of the eighth. UNCG looking to take the lead. You're watching UNCG Baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.
Human beings can be hungry anytime they please. Maybe you messed up and didn't eat enough lunch. Perhaps dinner is very far away. It doesn't matter. Come to Arby's and solve your hunger problems with dollar sliders, cookies, small-sized fries, drinks, and shakes, each for $1 from 2 to 5 p.m., not a.m. Arby's, we have the meat.
hello and welcome back to now the bottom of the eighth inning, as in the top of the eighth, Furman was not able to produce any runs there. The pitcher for UNCG, Jack Maynard, doing a very good job so far, as he has now gone 3 consecutive innings without allowing any runs after coming in for Matt Frisbee. We will have Ryan Clinch now starting things off. The catcher for UNCG has been pretty productive today, 2 for 3 with a single in first and third. Now,
Yeah, this is a part of the order that you can really, you hope for UNCG to kind of turn things over to the leadoff spot, get one runner on for Embler. And Embler can maybe drive him home as that pitch will be outside for ball one. Clinch does have a single today. Sigmund, who comes in the on-deck circle, does not.
that will be hit almost directly behind him. Clinch kind of strike one, so 1 ball, 1 strike with once again Heath Hawkins now in relief for Grant Sherman. Throws another ball, so now 2 balls, 1 strike. Ryan Clinch again hitting it behind him out of play. Will count as a second strike, so the count is now 2-2.
Yeah, this is the job of the back half of the order. Set the lineup, turn it over, get it to the top half, and that's why you're not necessarily too upset as that pitch will be popped into
Yes,
left.
that will be a hit towards left, and a really good play by Carter Grote, the left fielder for Furman, as could have easily either popped out of his glove or the sun could have gotten in his eyes or something, but he stayed focused and did not allow a triple or a possible score for a Clinch. It'll be out number 1 for the Spartans.
Yeah, and that ball just kind of carried. It seemed like it wasn't going to go over, and it just kept carrying. A good job there by Grote to track that onto the wall.
Very good job, as we have the right fielder Ryan Sigmund now up to bat, as Hawkins will throw. And that looked to be a ball, yes. Ball 1. So with 1 out, 1 ball, Sigmund is up.
That's a huge spot for Sigmund. He's got to get on base. He turned on that one, but well foul.
So now 1 strike, 1 ball, 1 out. Ryan Sigmund looking to make something happen for the Spartans. Hawkins throws. That will be a little too low. Ball number 2. So now 2 balls, 1 strike for Ryan Sigmund in the bottom of this 8th inning. Hawkins throws again. Ryan Sigmund hits it directly behind him into the net. That will be strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strike. As we see Austin Embler coming out of the field, snatching that ball, helping out a little bit as he's on deck, getting prepared to hit next. He has had a really good day for the Spartans as well. Hawkins throws a little inside, it seems, and that will be full count now.
Yeah, Sigmund here, if anything that gets you on base is good. So a 3-2 count, he can either take and hope to get on base with a walk or swing away. Chooses to swing away and does not do that.
So that will now be the 2nd out for the Spartans. As now, as mentioned before, Austin Embler, very productive player today for the Spartans, will be up to bat as he hit a double in the bottom of the 6th. And he was able to score as well, providing that now tie that the Spartans have with Furman. As Hawkins will deliver a first strike 2, or strike number 1 to Embler. So with 2 outs, we will see if Austin Embler can just, of course, at least get on base. As he hits one towards right field, and that will be in the glove of Richards, right fielder for Furman. So no change in score here. Score still tied 5-5. Furman looking to score again in the top of the 9th now. We'll be back after this.
Human beings can be hungry anytime they please. Maybe you messed up and didn't eat enough lunch. Perhaps dinner is very far away. It doesn't matter. Come to Arby's and solve your hunger problems with dollar sliders, cookies, small-sized fries, drinks, and shakes, each for $1 from 2 to 5 p.m., not a.m. Arby's, we have the meat.
And welcome back to UNCG versus Furman. The score is still tied. UNCG not able to score any runs in the bottom of the 8th. On the top of the 9th, Furman looking to break that tie as now a new pitcher for UNCG and really for, his name is Chad Sykes, relieving Jack Maynard, as Maynard, of course, did a pretty good job only allowing 1 run. Not allowing any runs to be scored between the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning. Chad Sykes now looking to close in this top of the 9th.
Yeah, final line on Maynard, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run. That 1 run was earned, struck out 6 in relief in just 4 innings of work. And Sykes' stats coming into today, very, very good. He's kind of chills his way into UNCG's closer role and hasn't really looked back. It's been middle relief in Wentz and then straight to Sykes, and Sykes has done a really good job. So looks to do the job here. This is a classic closer role in the top of the 9th. If you're tied, you send your closer out there, give yourself a chance to keep that lead or keep that tie ball game and win the game in the bottom of the 9th. But on the year, Sykes, a 2.3 ERA, 13 appearances, 15 2/3 innings worked, 14 hits, 6 runs, 4 of those earned, 8 walks, 18 Ks.
So now we have Brandon Elmy up to bat, the first baseman for Furman. And his day consists of a single in the 1st with a strikeout in the 3rd and a strikeout in the 6th and a flyout in the 4th. A 1 for 4 today as Sykes throws That will be a little high. So 1 ball, 1 strike as Elmi had hit one out of play towards third base, left side of the field before that ball. And he will swing, miss here, it looked like. That would kind of strike 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes.
This is exactly what you want your closer to do. Come and just attack, 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 get ahead, force that hitter to make swings on pitches he doesn't want to swing at. Like that one there.
As that will be out of play towards right side of the field there. Towards the stands, actually. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Remains the same. As Scott was saying, good start for Sykes here. Sykes throws again. And Elmi will hit that towards right field. That will be towards Sigmund's way. Sigmund throws. That will be a double for Brandon Elmi. Really good start for Furman there. We take a look at this replay again with 2 strikes. Not trying to get out there or strike out. Hits a good one right past Sigmund's way. Sigmund attempting to run towards the fence to grab that ball. Unable to in time, and leads to a double for Elmi as we now have the center fielder Landon Kay up to bat. Will hit one right to Caleb Webster, and Webster again with fascinating play, throwing it across the field, across the infield to Michael Koss.
And Webster has done such a great job in the field, and you'll see here just that could eat most people up. Instead, he just calmly collects it and throws over to first, and you saw it in the first couple frames. Hits like that ate up the freshman alleys for Furman all the time, and he's a freshman as well, and you're going to learn, but for some reason, it seems like Webster just kind of skipped that learning process altogether.
It sure has, with his outstanding play just today and, of course, throughout the whole season as well. As very quickly, as we were talking about earlier, some of the leaders, he will be definitely developing into one of the leaders come next season. That will be the first ball thrown by Sykes against the catcher, Jason Costa.
You talk about Webster's ability to field the position. He has 39 assists to no errors and 17 putouts, or a 100% fielding percentage. So that's exactly what you want out of a third baseman.
Sykes throws. Costa will.
Should advance the runner.
And it will. It will be the second out. However, Brandon, or excuse me, Brandon Elmi will advance to third.
This puts a good spot for Furman. They have their senior leader up with a chance to take the lead here in the top of the 9th inning. Sky Overton, been in this lineup since a freshman, much like Webster most likely will be once he's a senior a couple years from now. He's got a chance to give his ball club the lead for the first time since they were up 5-4.
Sykes throws that first ball to Overton. 1 ball, 0 strikes, but 2 outs. However, Elmi looking to score here on third for Furman and break that tie. Sykes throws again, and that will be ball number 2. So Sykes having a chance here to close out the inning without allowing a score. However, a little difficult at the same time. Wouldn't you agree, Scott?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get here. It's a tough situation for Overton. You got to see if he can drive it in.
Right indeed, as Overton hits that out of play towards third base. Strike number 1 there.
UNCG just looking to get it to the bottom half with a chance to win the ball game with one swing. Sykes is the man to do it.
Sykes throws. This clinch unable to handle that pitch, but does not allow the runner on third to score.
And if you're Sykes, this is a hitter you can kind of pitch around in Overton to get to Crawford. We've seen he doesn't have a great batting average. He struck out his last time at the plate, and you have those bottom half of that order coming up in play again here for Furman. They just haven't gotten the job done today, and that's why you don't necessarily have to pitch super aggressively to Overton here.
3 balls and 1 strike there. That will be the 4th ball. So with nobody on first and second, does not force Elmy to score. However, you definitely, if you're Sykes, wanted to try and get Overton out.
Yeah, but I don't think necessarily that was the main goal. I think you wanted to see if you could get Overton to chase there because you do have a lesser hitter coming to the plate here in Crawford. You don't want to force anything to Overton, a guy that can beat you, when you have a guy that probably is less likely to beat you coming up next.
That will be the first strike thrown to Crawford. You make a good point, Scott, because usually people will just think, well, try to get that person out. But scheming there and allowing Overton to get out, now reaching towards the bottom half, as you mentioned. Now Crawford striking out the first plate appearance he had.
Yeah, that's one of those unintentional, intentional walks.
Definitely.
It's not necessarily a walk by title, or an intentional walk by title, but it works in the same way.
So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Sykes throws again, and that will be hit out of play by Crawford. Will count as a strike towards almost directly behind him.
Crawford, a .260 hitter on the year for the Paladins.
For Sykes, this is definitely the position he wants to be in as far as facing an opponent for Furman. Sykes throws again, and that will be a strikeout right there. Will end the inning. So heading into the bottom of the 9th, UNCG has a chance to win the game. It's tied 5-5. We'll be back after this.
Some of the changes I've seen myself since I've been here at UNCG is just, I've been really challenged. I've been really encouraged to come out of my comfort zone.
As a professor, what I feel is most important is to find that passion.
Do you have this dream of doing something bigger for the world, but you don't know how to get there? This is the place where you go to figure it out.
The road to Omaha begins in Greenville, South Carolina. The Southern Conference Baseball Tournament comes to Fluor Field May 23rd through 28th. Enjoy some great college baseball with a trip to the NCAA's on the line in a city the New York Times calls one of the top places to go in 2017. Get your tickets to the tournament and book your rooms in that Greenville today. Experience the games. Explore the city.
And welcome back to Furman and UNCG. We head into the bottom of the 9th now with Chad Sykes now the closer for the Spartans this afternoon. Did not allow any runs as there was a runner on third, but Chad Sykes able to strike out Crawford, getting that 3rd and final out. So now leading off for the Spartans in the bottom of this 9th, again having a chance to clinch this win here, is Ben Spitznagel, the left fielder for the Spartans.
Yeah, UNCG is looking for its first walk-off win since March 26th when they walked it off against Georgetown 5-4 the final on that one. A JoJo Underwood game-winning RBI to win that game.
Against throws, that will be strike 1.
And ironically enough, that was a Matt Frisbee start as well. So a lot of similarities between the two.
Hawkins throws again, and that will be strike 2.
And we talked about it in the top of the 9th inning. The bad part of the lineup was due up for Furman. For UNCG, this is the perfect spot. 2, 3, and 4 doing the damage most of the day in terms of driving in runs. They've got a chance to do so again here in the bottom half.
As Hawkins throws that first ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Spitznagel looking to at least get on base here. Hawkins throws again. Spitznagel will hit that out of play. Will be a foul. So 1 ball, 2 strikes as it remains the same for Spitznagel.
So we're going to have a really good 2-strike approach here. You can really play small ball if you get a leadoff man on here in the 9th inning. Push him over with the bunt and move him around.
Hawkins throws again as Spitznagel will hit that out of play into the stands, actually, towards the left side of the field.
It's turned into a really good at-bat here for Spitznagel. He got behind 1 and 2, but he's fouled a lot, past couple off and staying alive, trying to find that pitch he wants to see to drive in, to cash in and get aboard.
Hawkins throws. It appeared as that almost hit, but it looked like it touched the ground. It did not hit Spitznagel there.
Yeah,
that's another ball.
I think Spitznagel a little upset there that he kind of got out of the way. A hit by pitch gets you on base just as well as a hit.
Exactly. Spitznagel hits that out of play into the stands once again, to the right side of the field this time. So still 2-2. Looking to get on base. And Scott, if you had to say, what exactly would be the strategy for UNCG to close this game out?
I think you got to focus on getting the leadoff man aboard, and they do there, and you get small ball your way in. Especially with a guy like Moore, it's able to drop down a bunt really well, and Spitznagel does his job. Drop down a bunt, and you set the table for a Michael Goss game-winning RBI situation as you just kind of loop that one into right field. And the infield should be in for Furman, as this is going to be a clear bunt situation.
Definitely is. As soon as I asked you exactly what the strategy was, they execute at least the first play. Good hit by Spitznagel that now sets up Morris in hitting.
And we say that, and they don't drop down the bunt and take the first pitch strike.
Exactly.
Seems like the perfect small ball situation here.
So Morris will take that first strike given by Hawkins. Hawkins getting set to throw, and he does. It will be a swing and a miss, strike 2. So just like it was for Spitznagel, 2 strikes. 2 strikes for Andrew Morris here, who is 1 for 3 today. Sacrificing, but responsible for an RBI in the 2nd and a single in the 6th, and responsible for another RBI. So as you mentioned, very strong part as he swings and misses here. That will be a strikeout. So out number 1. As now Michael Goss, the first baseman, comes out to bat with a .354 average on the season. 2 for 4 today.
Yeah, that one confuses me. I don't know why you don't drop down a bunt there to try to set the table here for Goss. Instead, Goss is batting with 1 out, nobody in scoring position. Very confusing at bat sequence there.
Exactly, and it looked as if they were going to execute that strategy we were just talking about with the hit by Ben Spitznagel, but Andrew Moritz being responsible for that first out there, or being the victim. A better word choice of the first out, as Goss will take that first strike given by Hawkins. Hawkins looks back, throws to Brandon Elmy. Spitznagel still safe, though.
For UNCG, you're still in really good shape here. You have Goss and Webster due up, and those are guys that can drive him in. Just got to advance Spitznagel to second somehow, get him in scoring position.
Hawkins throws, and that will be counted as a strike. It looked like it was inside, But umpire says, that will be strike number 2. So now with 2 strikes, Michael Goss. Hawkins throws again. Michael Goss hitting one. And that will follow, will get right into the glove of, I believe, first baseman. Yes, first baseman Brandon Elmy.
Yeah, he chased at that one, and he had to because the home plate umpires called him on a strike earlier to make the count out of his favor. He had to make him chase, and Greg Howard did just that and kind of cost Michael Goss in that bat there.
Now Caleb Webster up to bat. We've seen him had a really good double play for UNCG, and he was outfield as he hits one behind him out of play. So with 2 outs and 1 strike against Webster, Scott, things aren't falling the way that UNCG thought they would, or how they had planned maybe.
Yeah, I think they expected Moritz and Goss to have a little bit better at bats to kind of move Spitznagel over, and now you're in a tough spot if you're Webster.
You sure are, with Spitznagel still on first. And Webster taking that second strike, as it again seemed like it was a little low going into the ground there, but
yeah, it seems like the strike zone is widening as the game goes on. That's an interesting spot to be.
Exactly. So 2 strikes and 2 outs is Webster is looking to at least get on base. Hawkins throws.
Spitznagel will be going on contact. Good thing for UNCG. The Webster, one of the tougher players to strike out in all the country, as he leads the SoCon in that category.
Hawkins throws again, and that will be strike out. Out number 3, UNCG not able to execute here. The score remains the same. We will now head into the top of the 10th. We'll be back after this.
These are the student athletes. This is where they train. These are their homes. This is where they become Rhodes Scholars and academic All-Americans. These are the athletes they've always admired. This is where champions are crowned and moments are made. This is the Southern Conference.
And welcome back to now the top of the 10th inning, as UNCG unable to execute and win the game, break the tie of this 5-5 score between both Furman and UNCG. Leading off to bat for Furman, now the top of the 10th, is Sims Griffith, the second baseman for Furman. As mentioned plenty of times before, Scott, you've said the bottom of the last 3 hitters for this Furman team not really been productive at all, with the exception of what Love did this past inning in the top of the 9th. But pretty good as Sykes goes ahead and throws that first strike to Griffith. Pretty good chance here, though, for Sykes, though, right, as he's, again, facing the bottom of the batting lineup for Furman.
Yeah, if you're UNCG, you got to get out of this inning with the first 2 batters to come down. I mean, if you turn it over to the top of the order with Richards, again with runners on, I think he's going to cash in. You've got to take advantage of these last 2 hitters in the lineup.
Sykes throws ball number 2 here, so 2 balls and 1 strike up against Sims Griffith here, and Sims Griffith's clearly struggling today, being 0 for 4 with a strikeout in the 5th. with now the third ball being thrown by Sykes. Definitely not the start Sykes wants here, and definitely not the start UNCG as a whole wants. Top of this 10th.
So he's got to slow down, kind of take it easy here, just attack the hitter. He's struggled all day, and exactly what the doctor ordered there, a foul pitch to full up the count.
So yes, full count here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sykes looking to put away this first hitter. As Griffith will pop one up behind him. Clinch right there to get that first out. Good heads-up play for Clinch.
It's a good way to battle back there from Sykes, get back into the count, and then get the out there.
Yes, it definitely is. Now they have the first out of this top of the 10th inning. As now we have Dylan Love, as mentioned, went ahead and had a single in the 8th. Sykes throws. Love will hit one behind him, out of play, into the stands. Strike 1.
Due up for the Spartans in the bottom of the 10th. It'll be Shelton, Trejo, and Clinch, 6, 7, and 8.
As Love will get that second strike there, hitting it out of play towards third base. So 0 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Good news for Sykes. Sykes throws again. And that will be a strikeout. Good start for Sykes. As it is now 2 outs, 1 more, and UNCG will get a chance to win once again as we look at it again.
Chased it high. Second strikeout.
Sure did.
For Sykes in his appearance so far in just 1 2/3.
So exactly what UNCG needed right now facing Richards.
Yeah, nobody on. Can't really do a whole lot of damage except if he hits one out of the park.
Sykes throws that first ball into the ground.
Now if you're Sykes, though, you don't want to back off. You attack the last 2 hitters. I know they were weaker hitters, but you still got to attack Richards.
It'll be strike 1 there, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs for Sykes here. Looking to make Richards 3 for 6.
He started off 3 for 3, and if you can get the last 3 outs in the back of the innings against Richards, that certainly helps your cause to win this game here in the bottom of the 10th.
It sure would, as that was the second strike now thrown by Sykes. Sykes throws again. Richards hits one, pops one behind him as Clinch attempts to get it, and he will. And that will be the 3rd and final out for the top of the 10th. So, of course, the score remaining tied heading into the bottom of the 10th. UNCG still having a chance to win the game. We'll be back after this.
There's something in our souls that never sleeps, an ever-running engine that pushes us, compels us, makes us think 2 steps ahead, keeps us pushing, reflecting, inquiring, discovering. No matter who we are, where we come from, what we do, we all have one thing in common. We are driven.
Hello once again, and welcome back to the bottom of the 10th inning now. The score is, of course, tied. Furman 5, UNCG 5. And Scott is actually going to go ahead and give us the lineups here for UNCG, at least the next 3 hitters.
Yeah, next 3 guys up for UNCG to try to win this ball game. It'll start with Trip Shelton, Cesar Trejo, and Ryan Clinch. It's 1 for 4, 2 for 4, and 1 for 4 on the day. Sigmund, the only 0 for on the day. He bats 9th. If it gets that far, that'll be the 4th hitter in the order in this bottom half of the 10th. Spartans looking to walk it off for the first time since March 26th when they did it against Georgetown. 5-4 winner in that ball game.
As Hawkins will throw that first ball. Does the strategy remain the same, Scott, as you mentioned before in the bottom of the 9th?
Yeah, you got to get the leadoff guy on, and that'll start you up. If you don't get the leadoff guy on, it makes things a little bit tougher, but I'd imagine if you get the leadoff guy here, you got to bunt him over, get him into second, and hope to cash in.
As we saw, UNCG failed to do that in the bottom of the 9th, as they will get a second chance here to clinch this game here in the bottom of the 10th with the score once again 5-5. Hawkins throws. It will be ball number 3.
Yeah, if you're Shelton here, you got to be very, very sure if you swing, because if it's outside of the zone, you're going to be on first. Exactly what he got.
And that is a good start for the Spartans there, as Shelton will be able to walk his way to first base. And now Cesar Trejo is 2 for 4, as Scott mentioned before, for the day.
Let's see if he sacrifices himself here. Infield is in. They're certainly expecting the possibility of it. As Crawford's in on the grass.
Hawkins throws. And laser hit out of play towards the left side of the field for Trejo will count as strike 1.
Not bunting again here. Choosing to swing away is Link Jarrett.
Hawkins throws again, and that will be a swing and a miss. Strike 2.
Really aggressive swings here by Trejo. He wants to drive something a long way. But now with 2 strikes, you got to choke up on the bat, kind of be a little bit more conservative, just kind of poke one in there.
So 2 strikes, 0 outs. Hawkins throws again. It will be ball number 1.
It's almost like a pitch out there. See if he can get Trejo to chase. Maybe on a hit and run there, you throw the guy out at second and Shelton.
Hawkins throws again. Ball number 2.
Hawkins has had a tough time locating the strike zone here, so Trejo got to be aware of that.
As Hawkins throws, Cesar will hit one up top, and that will be out of play into the stands with some of our fans being alert. Good job for them. Hopefully nobody getting hurt there. That'll be out of play, so the count will remain the same. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 0 outs, though. So with their lead runner on first, looking to at least advance him. Only 1 run needed to win this game, of course.
Shelton, very conservative lead over at first base, only a couple steps off. You don't want to make that out by getting picked off.
Definitely don't. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hawkins throws again. And it is now full count. So 3 consecutive balls thrown. As you noted, Trejo needs to stay cognitive of the balls going outside of the strike zone, as Hawkins just has thrown his 3rd consecutive ball. He throws again. Trejo will hit one.
Hit and run seem to be on there. Trying to get advantage, get a little jump on an extra base hit and score a run to win the game.
Sure was. So still full count, 0 outs. But Trejo looking to just win the game right here. As noted before, mentioned before by his power hitting.
It seems like they're going hit and run here, and that takes kind of the threat of Hawkins issuing a walk here out of the question.
As Jason Costa goes up to Hawkins now, have a little word. Always interesting to see the players talking to each other, right, Scott?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the strategy is here. I mean, other than to kind of fill up the zone, maybe get him to chase away. It's clearly a hit-and-run situation, and that's what they do. They're going to strike him out, try to get the throw him out.
But Shelton will be safe there.
And they're going to call a double play on interference, and that's not what the doctor ordered. That was absolutely brutal. He chased on a pitch trying to get the hit and run. If you don't put the hit and run on there, he's on first and second with a walk. See a replay here. Yep. That's clearly batter interference there, and that's textbook. Trejo tried to get away with one there.
Just like that, it went from 0 to 2 outs. Wow, not what UNCG wanted.
Now Clinch up to the plate.
Clinch's days 1 for 4. He will hit one out of play towards the left side of the field there. That will count as a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Kind of a wacky play, right, Scott? A little bit?
Yeah, Trejo didn't really do his best to kind of play it off a little bit better. He definitely leaned into the throwing lane of the catcher, Costa, and that's textbook batter interference. I don't know if I put the hit and run on there, especially when you can draw a walk, and left that on the table.
And just like that, 3 outs. And the score remains the same as we'll be heading to the top of the 11th inning now. Be back after this.
Some of the changes I've seen myself since I've been here at UNCG is just, I've been really challenged. I've been really encouraged to come out of my comfort zone.
As a professor, what I feel is most important is to find that passion.
If you have this dream of doing something bigger for the world, but you don't know how to get there, this is a place where you go to figure it out.
The road to Omaha begins in Greenville, South Carolina. The Southern Conference Baseball Tournament comes to Fluor Field May 23rd through 28th. Enjoy some great college baseball with a trip to the NCAA's on the line in a city the New York Times calls one of the top places to go in 2017. Get your tickets to the tournament and book your rooms in that Greenville today. Experience the games. Explore the city.
Hello and welcome back to now the top of the 11th inning as UNCG nor Furman has been able to score and end the game on the top or the bottom of that 10th inning. As leading off for Furman, top of the 11th inning, we'll have left fielder Carter Grote. And this 10th inning, especially that bottom where UNCG, you had Trip Shelton on first base, and Cesar Trejo comes up, and as you mentioned, the batter's interference just brought things out of proportion.
Yeah, you go from a situation where you have a runner on at second base to nobody on, and even then you could have had runners on at first and second with a walk. Instead, you chase on the hit and run situation, which Furman knew was coming because you'd done it the last 2 times, and just kind of a strange set of plays there.
Sykes throws that first ball, or excuse me, strike.
Yeah, kind of cut inside last second to catch that strike zone to Grote.
Sure did. Good throw by Sykes as he throws again. There's another one right there. So 2 strikes. Sykes looking to end the top of this 11th inning pretty quickly, I'm sure. Throwing again, a little outside. That will be ball number 1. But if you're Sykes, what's going through your mind right now after seeing the bottom of the 10th inning end like that?
I think if you're Sykes, you just got to be a gamer. This is the spot that Link Jarrett at least has used Andrew Wantz many at times this season, so he's not afraid to stretch these bullpen guys out. He trusts them. He knows when he wants them. This would be the longest appearance, though, for Sykes on the year.
We see Grote pop one up, and that will be right past the second baseman, Austin Embler. He will get that first. He will get that single there. Check out this replay once again. What do you make of this, Scott?
Just off the knob of the bat there. Not really what you want as a hitter, but it flops in, and that's almost just as good as hitting one into the gap. I mean, you're on base in the 10th or 11th inning, and you got to think that Furman's going to push him over with Elmy here dropping down a bunt. So far this season, Sykes' longest outing was at South Carolina, February 18th. He went 2 1/3, 1 hit. That was a double, though. He did strike out 1 in a loss for UNCG, but since then, the longest since was 2 innings against Michigan State, February 26th. So really, should be March 4th and March 4th against Maryland Eastern Shore. So really, since then, he hasn't really been stretched out this far. It's been a full month since he's gone longer than an inning.
We expect a bunt from Elmy. He gets it unsuccessfully, though, so that will be first out.
Did his job there, advanced the runner over to second. That's exactly how you draw that one up.
Successful for the runner, of course. It's not too much for him, but as you were saying, the scheme is there, the strategy is there, advancing the lead runner.
Now you have a chance with your RBI guy in Landon Kay to drive in a run to take the lead.
Sykes throws the first pitch to Landon Kay. Will be strike 1. So 1 out, 1 strike. Carter Grote on second base, the leading runner. The strategy will continue. The plan will continue for Furman as they attempt to get Grote eventually to home plate. As that ball was hit directly to Shelton. Be out number 2. However, Grote advances once again.
And anything here for Jason Costa on the ground and in play will score a run and give Furman the lead. That's exactly how you small ball it up. You hit behind the runner, advance the runner. After a sack, be you to get the second, and all of a sudden the tying run is over, or the potential game-winning run for Furman is over at third base.
Sure is, as Sykes throws that first strike. Pretty sure Sykes is... Well, obviously, Sykes would now be looking to allow a run, trying to keep it tied. That will be strike 2. So now 2 strikes, 2 outs. Sykes having a chance to not allow any runs and close the inning.
Big sequence here for Sykes. You want to get him to chase away here. You don't necessarily have to throw a strike.
Sure
Catcher sets
is.
up outside.
Costa will hit that out of play into the stands, right side of the field there. So still 0-2 count. 0 balls, 2 strikes, along with 2 outs. Sykes throws. And right there will be a score for Furman as Grote does reach home plate. The score is now 6-5. Furman.
Bad time there to spike a pitch there for Sykes, as that's going to give Furman the lead going into the bottom half of the 11th. It's just a question of how much at this point. See there, just tough there to block for Clinch. It's going to be a swing and a miss strikeout, so
Clinch
pitch
will
too
get
late.
that ball there, and that will end the inning. So heading into the bottom of the 11th now. Score is now 6-5 Furman, UNCG. You need to score at least 1 run to stay alive here. We'll be back after this.
These are the student athletes. This is where they train. These are their homes. This is where they become Rhodes Scholars and academic All-Americans. These are the athletes they've always admired. This is where champions are crowned and moments are made. This is the Southern Conference.
Hello and welcome back once again to now the bottom of the 11th inning. The score not tied anymore as the top of the 11th, left fielder for Furman, Carter Grote, was able to essentially wiggle his way towards home plate, being the leadoff runner. And Scott, it's funny, the strategy that, well, both teams needed, looks like Furman was able to execute that first as far as sacrificing and eventually getting the leadoff runner home.
Yeah, Furman elected to go small ball. UNCG had 2 opportunities to do that as well. They chose not to. They wanted to swing away instead. And another interesting move here for UNCG. They're going to leave their guy that's 0 for 4 in the game instead of going for maybe a pinch hitter here to get you going. Top half of the order is due up after him, though, the 9-hole hitter in Sigmund. And it goes Embler, Spitznagel, and Moritz if you get that far, and those are the guys that have done it all season long.
Hawkins throws here. Be ball 1, a little outside.
Embler is the guy that's likely to do it. He's a home run away from the cycle. If you put a runner on in front of him, a home run could be monumental.
Hawkins throws the second ball here, 2 balls now. On the bottom of this 11th inning. Hawkins throws again inside. 3rd ball here. Hawkins throws. It'll be strike 1.
Yeah, good pitch there by Hawkins, kind of touched the outer edge. Not anything too fat across the middle, but enough to get the zone and get on the board with the strike.
Throwing again. Sigmund will hit one out of the park. And that is a home run for Ryan Sigmund, who is 0 for 4 today. Ties up the score. It is now 6-6, now with Austin Embler leading off. And as you mentioned, Scott, this has to be a huge confidence booster. Ryan Sigmund now 1 for 5, was 0 for 4.
Yeah, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Maybe that's why they didn't pinch hit him. They knew he had that in him and drove it in for Link Jarrett's club. And they have a shot if you go back-to-back. I mean, not 100% likely, but if you go back-to-back here, Embler finishes with that cycle. He just absolutely crushed that one, turned on it, and drove it gone.
He sure did, Scott, and the right fielder Richards for Furman. It's just impossible for him to get that ball, of course, after that.
A little bit of a courtesy trot just to show your pitcher you care.
So as mentioned, Austin Embler, very, very beneficial for the Spartans today. 3 for 5, and after now the score being tied, thanks in part to Ryan Sigmund, Austin will be looking to add to that.
So 2 mistakes there from the pitchers for each team has really been the reason why runs have been put on the scoreboard. A wild pitch from Sykes, and now Hawkins left that one out there, and Sigmund turned on it. If you're Furman, you've got to be extremely upset at this point. You gave up a home run to the 9-0 hitter to tie things up in extras after you played so well to get a run on the board in the top half. And that's all been erased here with no outs in the 11th. Some action down in the Furman bullpen. Not heavy yet, just kind of getting loose down there. UNCG nothing doing right now. So it looks like it'll probably be Sykes' 4th inning of work if it gets that far. And now they're going to try to make a pitching change, but you can't do that. That's illegal. The new coach is, guess, learning some of the rules. Wasn't sure of that one, or tried to pull a fast one. Probably tried to pull a fast one. I don't think he knew that. I don't think he didn't know that rule. Trying to buy his reliever a little bit more time, but once you take that mound visit, you can't come back and pull that pitcher till the next hitter. So Embler's got a chance to get maybe a tired Hawkins.
That will be 1 ball after he threw that first strike. And you're right, Embler having a chance here.
Looks like this may be one of those intentional walks as they're kind of working the outside of the zone.
2 balls now. 2 balls, 1 strike, 0 outs though. He will throw that right into, or he will hit that, right in towards the knee. It looked like it hit the hand of Heath Hawkins. Looked a little painful there as kind of came up with focusing on his hand as we look at the replay. His hand was covering his knee. It hit his hand right there, so he will indeed, Austin Embler will get on first.
There'll be a pitching change as Hawkins' day is done. The line obviously not closed on him. We'll take a quick break as we're going to have a new pitcher come in, throw a couple warm-up tosses. A tie ball game here in the bottom of the 11th. You're watching UNCG Baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.
Human beings can be hungry anytime they please. Maybe you messed up and didn't eat enough lunch. Perhaps dinner is very far away. It doesn't matter. Come to Arby's and solve your hunger problems with dollar sliders, cookies, small-sized fries, drinks, and shakes, each for $1 from 2 to 5 p.m., not a.m. Arby's, we have the meat.
And welcome back once again to the bottom of this 11th inning. As Scott mentioned before, a pitching change has occurred before going on a break. Billy Greenfield now is in and looking to, of course, do some damage to this lineup.
Yeah, Greenfield is their guy. He's their guy most used out of the bullpen, 17 appearances, 5.01 ERA, and Spitznagel drops down that bunt, trying to show small ball here now in the 11th.
And after you initially had called them to play that small ball strategic plan there in the bottom of the 10th, they're even finally going to that here.
Infield way in, and Crawford well in the grass.
That will count as a strike, first strike. As he will attempt to do one again, strike number 2.
Now I have to swing away. I don't see him dropping down a bunt with Spitznagel here. As if it does go foul, it would be an out. I'd rather just swing away at this point. Especially with how much he's just struggled with the last 2 bunt attempts.
Spitznagel did have a single in the bottom of the 9th. So coming off of that, as he will hit one.
First to third him.
He will. And that will be a base hit for Spitznagel as we hear the reaction from the crowd here.
Yeah, I think it was the fact that there was a misplay in right, and Embler had rounded second, headed for third, and then he twisted his foot. It seemed like he's a little bit herky-jerky there, but if you just straight send him, he's on at third easily, and the game-winning run is that much closer. Instead, you stop him, and he may have hurt himself.
And that, if you're Coach Link Jarrett, you don't want to see that in your players.
No, you got to first to third him there. He had the momentum. Just keep him going.
Definitely. So with that being said, a runner on first, but instead of third, Austin Embler will remain at second. As
hit by pitch there to load the bases.
Yep. So just like that, Moritz gets hit, bases are loaded, and it's looking like perhaps, wow, as we look at the replay there.
Yeah, he wanted to jam him inside, pop him up, and he had the infield making a play there to try to get the out. And this is exactly who you want coming up to the dish if you are Link Jarrett and Michael Goss.
So with bases loaded and 0 outs, the UNCG Spartans have a chance to win the game.
Yeah, Goss 4 hits in the series so far. He's got a 2 RBI single back in that first frame. RBI would end it.
It is not a good start at all for Furman's Billy Greenfield coming in.
Greenfield already giving up a hit and then a hit by pitch to load the bases.
He will, as he pitched, and Goss hit the ball directly behind him. Strike 1. Greenfield looking to throw again. He does. That will be a ball. Ball 1. Ball 1, strike 1. Once again, bases loaded.
If you're Goss, you don't have to be super aggressive here. But if you see a pitch you like, you can drive it. If not, put the pressure on Greenfield. He's been having trouble with the zone.
Throws. That will be ball number 2. So now 2 balls, 1 strike.
Here's where you can attack Greenfield. He might leave something hanging here. He has to throw a strike to level that count at 2 apiece. Might be a good shot as you're in a hitter's count. Embler over at third, a chance to win it.
We get a short timeout here from Goss, stepping out for a few seconds. Now back in. 2 balls, 1 strike. 0 outs. Bottom of this 11th with a chance to win the game. Greenfield throws. That will pop. Goss will pop it up. And that will be directly to the glove of Love. So now 1 out. And we have Caleb Webster coming up to bat.
The reigning SoCon Player of the Month in March. He's got a chance to leave his mark here in April with a hit. There's going to be a powwow here to kind of maybe discuss what kind of tactics Furman wants to use as their pitching coach, Caleb Davis, comes out to talk things over.
And I definitely would agree with this little meeting they're having at the mound, considering there's still only one out with the bases loaded. And with Caleb Webster here at bat, although 1 for 5, we just saw Ryan Sigmund being 0 for 4, hit one out of the park.
It's an interesting strategy here. Nobody's talking to Caleb Webster. He knows what to do. He's confident in his ability. He's already back at the batter's box for UNCG. Normally you'll see a coach maybe pull the hitter aside, tell him exactly what he wants to see, but this UNCG coaching staff really trusts Caleb Webster, the freshman, to kind of get this thing done. And what more can you ask for out of a freshman to be in a big spot like this to help get your team a big series win here at home?
So with one out, once again, Greenfield pitching against Webster. Throws. Webster will hit it to right field. And game over. UNCG wins the ball game by a score of 7-6. Embler heads into home plate.
And Embler is losing his mind out there. They mosh the freshman Caleb Webster. And what a play for the freshman. Sends them off the right way. And UNCG will win the series in the 12th, 7-6 over the Furman Paladins. And you see it here. Just got to get a piece of it. Just drive it into right field. And that's what Webster did. He knew it as soon as he got it, that this game was over. And you'll see the throw coming in. And sliding in safe is Embler just ahead of the tag, and he goes nuts as Furman is crushed in defeat. But what a win for UNCG. They battled back all afternoon long, and they win it here in the bottom of the 11th on a Caleb Webster sacrifice RBI fly to right field. And the winner will be Chad Sykes. Sykes with the win will improve to, let me get there. I can first give you, Sykes with the win will improve to 1-0 on the year. His first win of the year, used as the closer for the most part. The loss will go to Billy Greenfield. Greenfield on the year will fall to 0-2 on the season, but what a win for UNCG. They didn't necessarily have their best pitching performance from Matt Frisbee, but they found other ways to get it done, and they win it here in the bottom of the 11th to move to 20-10 in overall, 6-2 in SoCon play. Furman falls to 11-18 in overall play and 1-7 in SoCon play. And that will do it for us tonight. For Isaiah St. Hilaire, I'm Scott Wyant. You've been watching UNCG Baseball on the SoCon Digital Network.